Welcome back, Multi-Battle Conference, to the Season 9 Mid-Season Power Rankings. I am your host, as usual, Matt. This time, I am joined with a different set of guest hosts. Today, I have with me all three members of the Platinum Pixies, Nick, Ty, and Brenden. Go ahead and say hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
All right. So, what we did here, last time it was just me and Dan from the Nebby Backpackers doing the preseason power rankings. So this time, the four of us each came up with our own individual power rankings. We all ranked the teams 1 through 20, and we averaged all of those scores, and that's how we got the rankings that we're going to show you guys here today. So it's an average of everything that we came up with. So. And if some of the rankings seem a little bit off from what you might expect if you're just looking at the standings, we'll talk about that too. 'Cause some of us had some interesting placements. All right, so without further ado, let's just jump in. Starting of course with team number 20, going to the top ranked team at the end. So first up. Ranked number 20, we have Avocado Allergy. Nick, go ahead.
Okay, so I guess we'll just start with the elephant in the room that it's like you're ranked last, not only on this list, but in the overall standings currently. But besides that, I actually think that they have one of the higher ranked drafts. Like the drafts are pretty good. We have the luxury with them they stream and we get to see their live reactions during the battles. So that's been fun. They've been really entertaining to watch with that. I did write some really funny notes when I was going through their battles for these this cycle of battles, and I wrote, one thing is so funny, I wrote getting pizza during a match, come on. But I was like, that is so funny, why did I write that? But I just think that they kind of need a little bit more practice battling in this multi-battle thing with each other, because I think they have pieces here just work and have really good synergy with each other. Especially we can see here that they dropped the Zeb Striker. I don't know if y'all know this, but they were using Terra Ice Zeb Striker a lot, and I love that they changed, instead of having that, let's actually just get an ice type. And Red Ice is a pretty good ice type, especially for the points that you're getting. It's you're getting a legendary ice type, it has to be at least decent. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about them for sure.
Yeah, I really I like the team a lot still. There's a lot of pieces that I still enjoy seeing succeed here and there, even if they're not winning a set. It's still cool to see Bastiodon come out and wide guard something important, or a coaching combo with Urshifu or Ogerpon, and I also I agree with you about the trades. I like some of these trades. Jolteon's definitely a better electric type. Regice, yes, definitely cool for the points. And it's unlike most ice types, it's going to be able to sit there and take hits, especially on the special side. And they were even using Iron Defense Body Press with a stab Ice Beam, which I thought was a cool set. So I do see some potential here, even though they're not they haven't picked up a win yet. There's definitely potential here. I see a lot of good in the team, and I think that what you mentioned about
have been really close.
Yeah. And you mentioned with some extra practice, a team like this might get really good at the multi-battle format. And unfortunately, there's not we don't have a multi-battle ladder. That would be nice, but.
What I was thinking they could do that I thought of, I was y'all could if you have Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun and Moon, it's practice in the battle tree multi-tower, just to get used to the time limit and all that kind of stuff, and the communication during the battle.
Yeah, that might help to a certain extent, getting more used to just 3 Pokemon on one side, that sort of thing.
The one thing I will mention with this team is that
of all of the teams I looked at in terms of like the teams they fought so far and the teams they're going to fight after, these guys have had the hardest first half of the season of any team in the league compared to the back half. Like, I think that we're going to see them probably start to pick up a little bit of steam towards the back half as they kind of go, because they kind of already fought the gauntlet through most of the highest ranked teams in their division right now. And so I expect them to probably pick up a little bit of steam, especially with these trades.
Yeah, I think so. I like if unless like the only way they go the whole season without a win is if they choose to. If they give up, yeah, sure, whatever, fine. But if they keep trying, yeah, they're gonna pick up some wins, I think. And that strength of schedule thing is gonna be a common theme we're gonna come back to with Ty. He's got a lot of information on that for a bunch of different teams. So definitely good to know there. Any other thoughts on avocado allergy, guys?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. I think they have a chance to pick it up here in the back half.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. Moving on to number 19, the Rural Jurors. Brenden, go ahead.
Hello. So I think compared to the preseason rankings, this is the biggest upset in terms of not meeting expectations. They were originally ranked number 5 in the power rankings, and they're currently sitting at 0-5. The team is pretty solid overall. I really like what they have drafted and kind of the slight adjustments they've made, dropping Jirachi and Sneasler for Iron Valiant and Metagross. It leans a little more into the Psy-Spam aspect, because you can actually go E-Force with Iron Valiant as a way to trip people up. But they just haven't been able to capitalize on all the pieces that they have. Whether it's an over-reliance on an Indeedee Drift Bim lead, that's something that I notice is pretty common of theirs. The physical acrobatics knockoff Drift Blim with the aggressive Indeedee male. So those kind of stagnant sets might be pulling them back a little bit. But I think of the teams down here at the bottom, they might have the most potential to really rally it together for the back half of the season.
I think stagnant is a really good word that you honed in on there. Like it's because I feel the same way. It's kind of like, especially before they traded away Jirachi, the team kind of felt like they were just putting Pokemon on the field and clicking attacking moves and calling it a day, which can be fine sometimes depending on the matchup and positioning and what Pokemon you have. It's a little bit harder to do that with Jirachi, which I think is probably why we saw them drop it here. Those mythicals with just like base 100s across the board, they have really great natural bulk, but that doesn't quite translate the same way to offense. You need a lot more help for that thing to do a lot of damage. You got to boost it up somehow. I know that from having a lot of experience with Mew in draft. Same kind of thing. So I'm hoping these trades open up the team a little bit more. With some solid prep, I think they can turn it around for sure. On paper, yeah, the team itself is very, very strong, which is why we ranked it so highly in the beginning. So, Nick, Ty?
Yeah, I think it's just really sad to see them drop Jirachi. It's like I want it to work so bad. Like, I really think that what would have been good is just like slapping Choice Scarf on it and just like letting Serene Grace flinches like carry you. I don't know if they ever did that. We battled and they didn't have it then, but I was really scared of it like the whole time we were prepping. But I think Metagross is like a good trade for it. You get like the same typing and it's like has a little bit more oomph like offensively without needing to be set up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think they may have tried that Choice Scarf Ironhead thing once or twice, but it's more. I think the Serene Grace flinches are more just like a cherry on top rather than something you want to rely on, because there's still a 40% chance that the opposing move goes off, and that's assuming that you are actually faster with Choice Scarf and they're not clicking like priority or something like that. So it can be a little bit hit and miss, which I think is maybe why they didn't like it a lot.
the Valiant is exciting to me, especially in conjunction with like Driftblim and Lapras to an extent, and even Metagross, because like I feel like a lot of this team is very flexible, if in a good way, right? Where like you really don't know what to expect out of Valiant week to week, or like even Clefable can do some nasty stuff with like Gravity. So like I feel like if they get creative, they can try to catch a lot of teams off guard and really like cook people with some weird stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of spice hiding underneath.
Yeah, I think they've got even more potential to turn it around than Avocado Allergy. I think just purely based off of how strong the draft is. All right. Any other thoughts on Rural Jurors?
I think we
Okay.
covered everything.
All right, number 18. 3-turn sleep. This one is Brenden again.
Yeah, I have a little gauntlet of teams. So for 3-turn sleep, they probably had the most confusing transactions to me out of everyone. At the start, they had a really strong, coherent, aggressive Rain Core with Politoed. What was the start of it? Tornadus, Archaludon, Politoed, and Kingdra, which was a really strong, aggressive core, albeit a little predictable. But they seem to have strayed away from that, and I can't see the vision at this point, to be honest. I think that's part of why they're a little lower down, is the team's a little incoherent. It still has the Politoed Kingdra core, but now you have an Oricorio that has no dance partner. It has 4 Mons that want to Trick Room, 3 that kind of don't care for Trick Room, and then Oricorio is just kind of sitting there by itself. I am curious to see what they'll get out of Goldengo and Oricorio. They're both definitely solid, but Oricorio really wants a partner like Volcarona to just start spamming Quiver Dance with. Kind of once you've broken your opponents and they can't really stop a setup sweep in the end game, you can just start clicking Quiver Dance and both of them are boosting up and then just rolling over whatever's left of your opponent. But as it stands now, I kind of just don't see where they're going.
I have a bit of an idea. I mean, I don't. I'd like to stick up for the transactions a little bit. It definitely looks like they're moving away from this more cohesive rain mode, and they are. I don't think that's such a bad thing, though. Dan and I talked a lot about this in our preseason power rankings. The over-reliance on rain was going to mean that teams that prep well against rain are going to have a good time against a large portion of your team. So moving away from that, yeah, definitely makes it seem more disjointed. It's not as clear how these Pokemon are going to work together, but it opens you up to a wider variety of options, I think, rather than because we saw they went up against the Omaha Cinnabons, and the Gyarados just got off like a rogue sunny day, and it just ruined our Archaludon's day. So stuff like that is definitely going to be a problem for them if they were to keep with this like heavy rain mode. But I've seen a lot more from them, especially recently, like with the new Mousehold pickup. That's been pretty devastating offensively and as a redirector. Goldengo is less reliant on rain, I think, in some circumstances, probably a better steel type. I like the trajectory here, even though it's not as obvious how it's all working together.
If I was going to make a bold prediction about the future of this team, I would assume that because of the way multi-battle works, Perish Trap with Gothorita isn't as strong of an option as maybe they thought it was a new team coming into the season. I wonder if Oricorio is a transaction they made in preparation for some kind of a dance partner in 15 that Gothorita may be replacing. I don't know for sure, but that seems to be kind of my thought process here of like, are they just setting up for like a future transaction that's going to really make the team more coherent, right?
Yeah, I think
Dancer at 15.
Yeah, they definitely should do that. It's like because you have the Oricorio here, and you're like, there's no like real danger. There's like dragons on Kingdra, but it's like I think you want like more like a Quiver Dance, or I don't even know if we're allowed to do this, but can you just take like another Oricorio? Oh, okay. I was like, that would be crazy. But yeah, I think you just definitely need to find like a Quiver Dancer then to just throw on here.
For sure, yeah. It looks to me like that, since the Oricorio was part of the most recent transaction period, it looks to me like that's pretty likely to be coming up here. I'm not sure if Gothorita's the one that they're going to drop. If it's a C tier, I'd probably expect them to drop Caporaja or Torterra. Gothorita they've been getting a lot of use out of, especially with that gravity hypnosis shit. So it doesn't... I'd be surprised if they dropped that. So, and hey, man, 3-turn sleep, living up to their name. Keep it up. If I see gravity hypnosis, I have a good time, unless I'm your opponent. But
yeah, I'd also agree with keeping Gothorita. There's a lot of utility for its point value.
Yeah, big trick room setter too. Much better than Meowstic. Any other thoughts on 3-turn sleep?
No.
Okay.
That's it for me.
Okay, number 17, we've got the Foxy Mouse Pads. Once again, Brenden, take it away.
Great. I have a trick now. So this is a team that is after SoCal's heart. It is very hard size spam. It's pretty straightforward in what it does. It is attacking you with 6 psychic types, which may or may not be an issue. I definitely can see this team just bowling teams over that aren't ready for just full offense from size spam, with single strike Urshifu just sitting there waiting to punch any Pterodarks that want to try and stop it. The same goes for Gallade. It's a great coverage for size spam. But the bulk of this team is one-dimensional. They opted to pass up on transactions this week. I definitely would have thought they would try and diversify the team a little more. The first transaction, they dropped Scizor and Rampardos. Seeing Rampardos leave always makes me sad. I am a fossil enjoyer. But Driftbloom always goes well on terrain teams, giving them more utility and diversity in how they can function, giving you both Trick Room, Tailwind, always have the nasty minimized baton pass shenanigans. But I think a fairy type would go a long way in helping them out. It's a good, solid type that has great coverage. Yeah, I mean, it's cohesive, straightforward. They know what they want to do, and boy, are they doing it. They have, 4 E-Force users. Yeah, I think main thoughts are the foundation is solid. They haven't really been able to capitalize the most off of it, it seems, because it's a bit on the easier side to counter team. Mm-hmm. But just a few tweaks here and there, and they can definitely start taking off and really knock down some games.
Yeah, I think easier to counter team is a big deal here, and it's a big part of why I think we've seen 3-turn sleep move away from their main rain core, while still keeping rain, but not being so heavily reliant on it. This is still very much like in-your-face size spam style team, with a Trick Room option here and with an Urshifu to blow up Steel and Dark types. It's very clear what this team wants to do, and I think maybe part of the issue is just not enough creativity in prep. I see a lot of pretty straightforward things that that they're doing. Maybe some like good coverage here and there. A weird Terra Blast, like fighting Terra Blast on Delphox sometimes can work. But more creativity, I think, is one thing I'm looking for from this team.
Yeah, definitely. When you're running a very straightforward archetype, you need to pull out all the stops and really dig into those move pools and find what utility they can offer.
Yeah, I understand the Drifblim switch because it really gives them that other speed control for the tail room, right? It's quite interesting to me that they picked a second flying type for the Psychic Terrain team with their 2 transactions. I wonder if there would be something better served in the Gliscor slot that could really like put out like a lot of that counter damage, like the fairy type damage that Brenden was talking about, right? But I don't really know what's left in the C tier that falls into that category. But just a thought.
If you're willing to get rid of some of your psychic types, you might even want to switch some stuff around in the A or B tier just to like add another dimension to your team, just some other things it can do, just so that your opponents aren't just like, all right, we're countering Psy Spam with Urshifu Delphox, and then a Trick Room mode, you know. A little more variety might be good for transactions.
Yeah, in our prep, we didn't end up deciding to use it, but there's some really strong picks in the C tier that work well with Trick Room. I was pushing for Ursaring for a while. It's 15 points, but 130 base attack Guts user. It slots in real nice on Psy Spam Trick Room.
That could go pretty nasty here, yeah.
Yeah, it has the Gen 2 move pool, so it has a lot of coverage options. Can be run multiple different offensive routes. But it will be a slugger and would probably be a better pick over the Gliscor. Because it's at, is it 55 speed? I think that's where it's at.
Yeah.
So you can run it tail room alongside the Drifblim as well. So it can be a little unpredictable.
You could even run it with some like Eviolite with some support options if you want to get weird with it, but offensive Guts is probably better if this team wants to look at it.
Yeah.
All right, any other thoughts on the Foxy Mouse pads? Going once, going twice?
I actually wanted to say, like, I just feel like as a monotype trainer, like, I get wanting to have, like, a monotype team, but that I just don't think that's going to work in multi-battle because everyone knows it's like, oh, we know that they're all psychic types, so let's, like, bring a bunch of types. And they don't, and it's like you really do need like a fairy type here. You have the 2 fighting types that really help on psychic, and so like even if you were being mono psychic, you have like the best picks for coverage as the psychic types. Like you have your side terrain Scepter, you have a fighting type in Gallade, you have a fire type in Delphox, which is like huge. Like you can counter being walled by Steel, but they're like forgetting, and you're also like super walled by Dark. So I agree. Like I think instead of Gliscor, you like almost need a fairy type, or you're just gonna have to be Terra Fairy on like all these psychic types.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean the monotype thing, like you can kind of make it work if you want to go more for like a theme rather than just like I have so many of this one type. That's probably about the best you can do with that.
Yeah. And another thing, this is the first time I'm seeing their team logo, and this would have done numbers on Tumblr.
Not Tumblr.
Incredible.
I've not thought about Tumblr in years.
All right. Any other final thoughts on the Foxy Mouse pads? Going once, going twice. Number 16, the Batty Bats, up next. Brenden, this is your last one for now.
4 in a row. So I think the best way to sum up this team is Jack of all trades, master of none. The options are there, the utility is there, speed control, however they wish to do it, is there. They have bulk, but they're a little lackluster on the offensive side. It seems like they are starting to adjust that a little bit. I really like the addition of Hearthflame. It is a nuclear attacker that can really patch up what they're missing. There's definitely a lot of room for them to come back now. But this is a team you have to be crafty with. It's not readily apparent what it can do, and that works in their favor for sure. Like, you have Scrafty Malamar for an easy Trick Room setup, just fake out Trick Room, and then you can bring in Sylveon, or you can go the Illumise, or however, I know Pokemon just put up the pronunciation for all the Pokemon. I think that one was a little controversial, but you can go Tailwind mode with that one and run Hearthflame. You have Sunny Day access to just make Ivy Cudgel one-shot whatever you wish it to. There's Howl with Dashbun. There's just so much here that they haven't been able to use all of it. And I think these 2 additions will really, once they can get the handle on them, they'll definitely be something to reckon.
Yeah, I think these 2 Pokemon they just picked up, the Ogerpon and the Sylveon, are quite a bit more reliable than the ones that they've dropped. You're a little bit less susceptible to Intimidate because you can kind of crit through it with Ivy Cudgels or get a +1 attack with your Terra on the Ogerpon. I like the fast Fire and Grass alongside the Specs Greninja that they've been using a lot. I think Specs is great, just like a Choice Band on Meowscarada with the way the Protean works now. I think Specs Greninja is great. I'm mostly very curious to see how the Ogerpon and Sylveon do moving forward. They've only had them for 1 battle here so far, so but I really like how they're using the Illumise. I like some of the Malamar usage. I like that they have Ogerpon with another redirector so that Ogerpon's free to attack more often. There's potential here too. I like the trades for sure. Trades are good. Nick, Ty?
I have one thing to say about this team, and it is that they traded 2 strong attackers for 2 strong attackers. I think that they need 1 more Pokemon with an attack stat over 100. Attack or special attack, it doesn't matter. But like 8 Pokemon on this team have like attacks in the 90s. Like, it's not doing enough damage, and they're relying too much on like 2 slots to be able to put out the bulk of the offense. I think it needs like like 1 more damage dealer would put this team over the edge. I don't know what slot it would come in, like somewhere in like the Dashbon, Regice, Malamar, Swalot, something in that neighborhood, but like it just needs more offense.
My gut immediately went to changing out Swalot for Victory Bell, but that's just my love of nonsense.
Valid.
I mean, yeah, I think that would,
because the Sunny Day from Illumise works with Hearthflame, and it can just send Victory Bell flying.
Yeah, I agree with Ty. I was like, that was what I was going to say. Like, I want, like, another strong ass attacker, because I think the Ogerpon, Hearthflame, and Sylveon are, like, the best things about this team right now, and that's, like, what they just added. So those are definitely 2 really good transactions. I also, like, I wish this Electabuzz was Magmar so bad because of Dashbun, because I don't know if y'all know this, but Dashbun sucks. Like, it's one of the worst.
I can confirm that.
It's like one of the first fairy types to break 100 in physical defense besides like Weezing. And it's so bad. Like, but I think if they had like Magmar instead of Electabuzz, does Lava Plume still exist? Lava Plume or whatever?
Yeah,
Oh,
Magmar gets Lava Plume.
Like, I
was
think
testing that out.
could make the Dashbun usable, but not having that, it's just like, please just drop it. Like, it's not gonna help you here. I literally used it. I dropped it in my playthrough. It was so bad. Like, I'm so sorry.
No, you're so real for that.
And another thing is, it's for sure confirmed to be Illumise. I just wanted everyone to know that. But it's good. I think 45 for it is pretty expensive, but I get that it has Prankster, but like, yikes. But yeah,
Tailwind,
they
man.
definitely need some more offense.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You could probably pick apart some of your C tiers and maybe even make your team a little bit less balanced, a little bit more top heavy. Get rid of some of those C tiers and just slot in an E tier and something more powerful. Most of these E tiers don't seem to be getting a lot of use. I see you with the Custap Destiny Bond on the Swalot. Cool tech. I don't know if it's worth keeping. I get it. It's cool.
Oh, that's peak.
But there's. I think you could do something better to get some more offense on your side. I agree with that.
It's that same tier as Ursaring. There's a lot of gold hidden in the C tier.
Yeah.
It's just you have to find it and see where it slots in on your team.
Some of that gold we're going to be talking about with some of these future teams here too. So, any final thoughts on the Batty Bads? Going once.
I like that Regice is drafted on both drafts. Like justice for Regice, it's so good.
Hell yeah.
Me
Or
too.
it's not good, but like you know what I mean.
It's
We can't
incredible
make
for
it any
15
lower than
points.
15, you know.
Maybe they need I don't know,
Can't make
a
it any
Lowland
lower than
Vulpix.
15 except in the rankings.
Oh my god.
All right, moving on to number 15, the Pokeunks. Ty, go ahead.
Listen. Hector, Alan, Anthony, if you guys are watching, how are you three of all people 2-3 with this team? What is happening?
I was thinking this today.
Like, listen, I have so much respect for all three of these guys as players. This team is fucking stacked. What is happening here? Listen, it's a strong draft, right? They're 2-3. They have already exhausted most of the weak teams in their division, and they've only gotten 2 wins out of it. They've got a much harder second half here. And their weakest opponent, I think, coming up is the Foxy Mousepads, who I think have a pretty strong team into theirs with the Sinistcha, right? Like, I just don't see how they pull out. They didn't do any trades. Like, are you guys throwing together like basic sets every week and just kind of hoping it works? Like, I need to know what's going on here. Like, I think I've said all that needs to be said. Like, this team's cracked, but like, I just don't get it, you know?
You touched on some of the problems that we are seeing. The lack of trades definitely is a problem. The Eviolite pressure on this team is fucking crazy. We need to do something about that. I'm not saying you gotta put Eviolite
Cosmo's
on
a definite hog.
Yeah, like Thwacky, not that big of a deal. Give it like a Miracle Seed or a Choice Band or something. You can do that. Gothorita, you can use Eviolite. You might just want to focus Sash instead. Magmar and Duraludon really both want it. And Magmar seems to be winning that battle every single time, which, fair enough. I think it probably needs it more. But Duraludon, so much of the reason it's good and maybe even worth more than B tier is because it is this solid full-fledged Pokemon that was once fully evolved. Now it can use Eviolite. That's pretty fucking strong, and most of the time you don't have access to it just because of your team comp. I also do think there's not a huge amount of creativity in prep from them right now. It does feel more like they're just kind of going for standard sets and calling it a day, which I understand sometimes. But this team is not really one that works with that. This team is, like I was talking about with Dan in preseason power rankings, it's very balanced. You have a lot of different options, different combos, and when you're putting a lot of time and effort into prep, this is the kind of team that you get most rewarded for that. But I don't really see that going on here. I think that's maybe the biggest problem.
Honestly, shout out the team comp. It's just like you got 30 ways to points. You touched on the perfect point. Like, that Duraludon could be something much more useful for 30 with the way they've got the Magmar coming. And if they just put 10 more minutes into prep every week, they could probably swing out the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, and there's still potential to make playoffs, especially because there's a lot of teams in in their division sitting around like an even record or like 2-3 like them, or there's a couple more that are at 2-4. So there's absolutely still a chance here. Any final thoughts on the Pokeunks, guys?
Yeah, they just have like a really good draft. Like I was so scared of this team as they were drafting it. Like it's probably like one of the most memorable drafts from like during the process, and it's just shocking to see that they're not just like 6-0 right now.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to number 14. We've got the intrusive nasty plots. Nick, go ahead.
Okay, so I was watching their battles from weeks 4, 5, and 6, and I think that they have probably some of the best examples of just like knowledge of the game. So like you have this Mel Meowstic that's like probably the next best prank, not counting like Prankster Talon, like the next best thing besides Grimmsnarl, especially in draft, where you just have so much of like a wide move pool. You have fake out, you have screens, and you don't even have to do that, which they've proven. Like they have been going hard with like manual Prankster Psychic Terrain, like that in one of their battles that like literally like was the deciding factor. They also have base Calyrex, which is like probably like so bad you would think. It's only 15 points I get like drafting it, but it did prove its worth with like Grass Knot in one of their battles. But I just like can't get over like some of the knowledge moments. Like they also had skill swap on the Male Meowstic to swap against Sinistcha, and I didn't know that when you skill swap its ability to proc hospitality like right there. So that actually ended up going like really hard into that team they were battling. And then another thing I noticed, and I think in that same battle, they had this Thundurus Incarnate, which you're like used to being like Prankster support, but like people forget like, this is like a legendary Pokemon. You like don't even have to like run like a support set with it. And they did like Terra Flying, no item acrobatics, and that just like destroyed that team. Like it was just so good. And I feel like that's just like having knowledge of like the Gen 5 days, which Token Female, if y'all like know her, you know that she's like played since like Black and White, and would like have been around for the times of like Thundurus Flying Gym acrobatics. And I think that using Terra Flying to like replicate that was just like really cool to see. And yeah, it was just like every battle I saw for these 3 weeks, that were just like demonstrating like such good knowledge of the game.
Yeah, I agree.
The draft is really good too. Like on top of that.
Yeah. The draft is incredible. I mean, like both versions of the draft are actually really good. I still liked it when they had this like Iron Hands, Arcanine kind of comp. I know that they were not as impressed with that, which is why they've been making some trades here. But I see a lot of good in both versions of this team. I think maybe one of the issues was that the kind of like the bulk and the way that this team looked like it was going to be really hard to break through with something as fat as that Iron Hands, and you got that Intimidate on the Arcanine, and Moltres is bulky too. Like you got screens from the Meowstic. I think you could use a lot of that bulk to set up a little bit more, some nasty plots on the Moltres, some Swords Dances on the Iron Hands back when you used to have that. Corviknight's got setup options too, Ogerpon for sure. So I think maybe that might be a good direction to go in, because if you're just like multi-battles are a little bit weird because of that timer, right? If you're just using that bulk to take hits and you're not killing things really quickly, you're susceptible to losses by the timer. But so I think maybe adding a little bit more setup into their diet maybe called for here. What do you guys think?
I mean, you have Moltres. I think what's so funny is like the least scary thing about their team from what I watched was the Goltrace. And I'm like talking about Galarian Moltres here, and that's like the least threatening thing that's been happening. It's like they definitely have a good draft.
Mm-hmm. I think one thing I noticed that kind of jumps out to me about this team, though, is that Once you get rid of the birds, or have a way to handle the birds, right? If you bring in your rock type for the week, your electric type, whatever it might be, if you can pressure those to leave the field, like, how do they deal with grass types? Like, they have like a couple of all of their answers to grass types are flying type, and so like there's kind of like a really big like after the Arcanine and the Glimmora left, there's like a pretty exploitable defensive Terra there, I think. But that's like the one thing that I see that's kind of like disjointed about the team.
Yeah, that's
I
interesting.
mean,
That
most
gets to be a
grass
big
types
problem.
retain a weakness to flying. It's like hard to be a grass type and not stay weak to flying. Like even the grass poison types that are like a dime a dozen, like are still weak to flying.
I'm just saying, like, once if a team can prep out some way to deal with the birds and like keep them away from the grass types, like Grass Terror becomes like free value.
Yeah, it does. I will say the opposing team had like a Terra Rock, and that didn't stop these flying types.
True.
Because they have the Corviknight. But yeah, I get what you mean.
They also have two very skill linkable Pokemon. Well, one has loaded dice with Hisui Electrode, and they don't really have like. I know this is Haley. Like, where's your stamina guy? You know.
It's like, where's Mudsdale?
Yeah, where's Mudsdale? I need to see Mudsdale.
I think that's a just wait, it's coming moment.
I also was gonna say with regard to their transactions, I think their transactions have been like really good and like benefited their team. The most obvious one is Crawnut. Trading that for Mabostif was like such a huge improvement. It's like yeah, the Crawnut might be old and have like better move pool, but like Mabostif is like a new Pokemon. Like, you know, it's at least like decent.
I think it's really valuable in C tier as well. Like its its stats aren't even bad. Like it's got Intimidate and a built-in Intimidate counter. Like I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the league voted it down into C. If it were up to me, this thing would be in B tier.
I think the big reason why it wasn't in B tier though is because like a lot of the league comes from VGC, and Mabostif is I think one of the last 5 Pokemon from Paldea that has not earned championship points this entire generation. So, like, I feel like it's kind of slept on in a way because it's just nobody uses it, you know?
Yeah, I think, like, Mono Dark isn't, like, that great, but I think in draft has, like, especially for how cheap it is, it's definitely, like, a good pick.
Big agree.
Yeah, it's been picked up in both divisions now, so I think that makes sense. Anything else on the intrusive nasty plots? Going once, going twice. Okay, number 13. We've got the Omaha Cinnabons. Now, this one is I feel similarly to how Ty felt about the Pokeunks. Not what we're usually accustomed to seeing from the Omaha Cinnabons. This is usually a very dominant team. However, I think we're still going to see that moving forward. This was one of the better teams that we ranked pretty highly in the preseason power rankings. The Fluttermane Chi-Yu is an obvious combo. Gyarados makes those two better in so many different ways. There was a lot of really cool Sun stuff, some of which they've dropped here. Slitherwing and Shiftry no longer part of the team. We really have yet to see how this new version of the team with Swampert and Glaceon is going to do, because they had a bye week immediately after transactions, so they haven't actually had a battle yet. As of recording this right now, we haven't seen them battle with the Swampert and the Glaceon yet, so maybe that makes them a little bit less reliant on Sun. They're able to use some water damage a little bit better, though they do still have the Gyarados. It'll be interesting to see how that works out. I'm a little bit disappointed to see the Slitherwing go, but the Shiftery, I understand. I will believe you guys dropped Shiftery too.
Oh my god, no.
We agree.
We totally agree. Get that thing
I
out of
tried
here.
so hard
And
to
it's
make,
even
like, a really
it's
fun Shiftery, but no.
and it's even better on this team than it was on yours, and even these guys don't like it. So I can only imagine how shitty it was for you guys. But in any case, I don't think the lackluster record is something we're going to keep seeing. Partly, I think maybe because of strength of schedule. Ty can tell us a little bit more about that, hopefully. And then I know the games that they've lost were Pretty close. At least one or two of them were. They played the Potatoes, who have been really hitting above their weight this season, especially considering we ranked the Potatoes last in preseason power rankings. They've gone up against the Anti-Spam Society, which is our only undefeated team so far, so not surprising that anybody is losing to those guys. And then I think the last loss they had was to Nosemole Reap, which I could totally be wrong here, but it felt a little bit like these guys may have underestimated Nosemole Reap. They had a really strong performance in that match. I don't even think they dropped a game against the Cinnabons. So, but these guys are really strong players. Sableye VGC here. Ryan is one of the few people in this league to have won the league more than once. And I know that his teammates are extremely strong Canadian players too. I'm pretty sure all three of these guys are up in Canada. But yeah, strong players, strong team. I expect to see some improvements here. What do you guys think?
Well, Fluttermane Chi just won Worlds, so what's happening?
Yeah, I concur with that sentiment.
On the note of strength of schedule, what Matt's saying is kind of right. Like, they did have a harder first half than they have a second half, but like the second half's it's kind of close, right? Like, they're going up against some of the weaker teams for the next couple weeks here, weeks 7, 8, 9, but they've got some pretty hard opponents for weeks 10 and 11. I think they rolled. Who did they roll for their cross division match here? I believe it was the Anti-Spam Council. So they unfortunately kind of rolled a rough one for their cross division. So like, I can see them picking up a lot of kind of getting back to like positive record for the next couple weeks, kind of jump up maybe into like the 5-3, and then it's really going to come down to those last 2 weeks, kind of where they end up placing, I think.
I think that makes sense. Nick, Brenden, anything?
They have Solosis, so like, what's happening? Like, one of the best Pokemon.
Our beloved football.
It is interesting to me that they've got Glowking and Solosis. I know there's only 4 Indeedys total in the league, but like the lack of manual psychic or automatic psychic terrain makes those two a little bit weaker as like niche picks, I think. Like, Glowking is not a bad Pokemon, don't get me wrong there, but like, it's I think having 2 expanding force users without the terrain is a little bit wrong.
Yeah, I mean, if it were, if this were my team, I would probably tell you Solosis isn't really here to be an expanding force user. It's here because it's an E tier and it's the only thing that we found that could be remotely useful. So much so that like, if we happen to play another season with Scarlet and Violet where Solosis is in the game, no fucking way it's staying in E tier. E tier is supposed to be useless bullshit that does nothing, so you can't have that in there anymore.
Yeah, Solosis and Duosion will both be D tier.
Yeah, honestly, I like Duosion as C. It's been actually kind of good. Anyway,
Duosion is 125 special attack, so it's no slouch.
Yeah, isn't that the same as Reuniclus?
No, Reuniclus jumps up to 135, I want to say.
No, it's 125. It just gets a lot of bulk.
Oh, interesting.
I think it's HP like doubles or something.
I will say that I think that Solosis is technically better than Duosion because it has better endeavors and lower speed for Trick Room for a comparable special attack stat. So like, it's kind of there's a hit or miss on both of them, right? You're trading the special attack for kind of the nastier endeavors and the better Trick Room mode.
Yeah, and the ability to use an Eviolite effectively. All right.
Solosis does not care for Eviolite.
Yeah. I think that just about does it for this team. Obviously very strong on paper. Don't expect to see them stay in the red, I don't think. Okay, next up, number 12, the Dirty 30 squad. Nick, go ahead.
Okay, this was like probably the last team that I was like watching all their like videos and stuff, so I was getting really like tired last night from that point, but I wrote a note for their battle. I think it was against the avocado allergies. I'm like, y'all, bright powder sucks. Like, stop trying to make bright powder work. Like, how many times are y'all gonna be screwed over before you just like realize it's not good? But other than that thing, like, I think they have a good draft, and I think what I saw of their battles like went really well. I think I saw like the best use of Gliscor with like Poison Hill that I've like ever seen. But I am gonna say, like, I don't think Ditto is good. Like, I think they should probably just drop that. We made the same mistake early, like I think during our first, me and Ty, like during our first season, we thought Ditto was just gonna be like so cracked. But it's really hard to like line up Ditto in multi-battles. And it was like in Sword and Shield, I think it was even like backwards on like which side it copied and like all that kind of thing. So I kind of just don't think Ditto is good. But other than that, like their draft is really good. You have like a good rain mode. And then you have like Chimpao next to like any physical attacker is just blatantly like good. And their battles, I noticed that Richard is like learning how to use timer. I think people were talking about that. He was like mad about the timer at first, but now you're like using it to like win games. Like games that I didn't think you would win.
Oh yeah, it's really annoying until it becomes one of your win conditions.
Right, yeah.
I think the thing that I love about this team that is so different from how I feel about the Rain team that we saw earlier from 3 Turn Sleep is that like they have, if you turn Sun on, see what Typhlosion does, you know what I mean? And like, oh, come hard prep for Rain, see what happens when we go sort of ruin boosted boost up body press on Chestnut. Like they've got more dimensions to it that like, but Chestnut's still benefiting from the Rain and Shenpao's really good on its own. Like they have a lot more layers and like ways that they can run the team, and I think it really shows with the record.
And yet I still think there are some things that could be patched up here. One of my criticisms in the beginning was too much water. I still kind of feel that way, even though one of the water types was eliminated. You got your rain mode up top, you got your Pelipper Basculegion. That's kind of enough. I don't really see Blastoise doing a whole lot. Like, even if you want it as kind of a bulky support glue piece, like there are other things that you can find, I think, that probably do that job better and don't compound your type weaknesses. And considering the Blastoise is a B tier, like there's a lot of really good shit in B tier still. You could pick up something there that just adds an extra dimension to your team that you don't have at all. I don't know what that might be. It's a big tier. There's a lot of stuff in there, but there's definitely some options. That's probably the first thing I would trade out. Chestnut, Typhlosion, you can keep them for a Fire Water Grass Core, I guess. If you find something better, maybe you could trade out one of your like Clodsire or Gliscor, but they seem to be doing okay. So not a whole lot of complaints there, except for maybe the Blastoise.
Yeah, I mean, with Clodsire, they made like Toxic Spikes work, so.
Yeah.
Have you considered though that Blastoise is to Max what Golurk is to Shannon? Like this is a mascot more than anything. Like Blastoise is good,
really?
but like but Blastoise is Max's guy.
Well,
Yeah.
I think Blastoise is good on this team. I mean, it still has Water Spout, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
But
you still have that
Matt's-
as an option. You get the Fire, Water, Grass starter core. You could always do the weird rainbow room and stuff, even though they suck. But, like, you still have that as something to be, like, scared of when prepping.
No, but Matt, you are right that like it is like a little bit compounding because like Basculegion is just straight up better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
Basculegion's scary.
we all like to have our mascots from time to time. I get that. But at the same time, if Shannon had a team with Golurk where Golurk was making the team worse, I'd fucking tell her to get rid of it. I don't care. So, whether she wants to listen to me or whether the Dirty 30 squad want to listen to me, that's a different story. You can make your own decisions, but that's my opinion. Any other thoughts, guys?
Remember when Blastoise had Follow Me?
choose
Oh.
not to.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
I
That
forget,
won
would
the
whose
league
team,
with
change
Paul
everything if it
Glass.
still had it.
I forget whose team that was back in the Sword and Shield draft days that had the Blastoise and the Togekiss, and you didn't know which one was going to Dynamax and which one was going to follow me every week, and that shit was awful to plan for.
Oh, who was that?
I think wasn't it Hector?
Oh, you might be thinking of a different league. I think he had that in MDL. Anyway, yeah, Follow Me Blastoise would be cool, but alas, it is gone. All right, any other thoughts on the Dirty 30 squad before we move on? Nope. Okay, number 11, Nose Mole Reap. Ty, go ahead.
Hello. Yes. Now this is a little bit of a spoiler up towards like when we get to mediocre Mudkips, but like this is a very similar team to theirs in a lot of ways. Like you've got the Dialga, you've got the Disquake, but where the Mudkips had Garchomp Kilowattrel, now Mamoswine Kilowattrel, they have Crocodile, previously Piloswine, next to Rotom Mow, which is a little bit of a worse Disquake core, in my opinion, which kind of is why they're a little bit lower down in my mind. But like you're always going to have a little bit of a predictable team when it comes to U tiers, because you're putting so many points into one basket on this Dialga. But like they're making it work. Like this team has really good synergies, I think. They can easily maintain an even or positive score, I think, through the rest of the season with this. I like the Magmortar swap up here from the Ogerpon, because I think the Ogerpon one's what, 60 from Hearthflame?
Yeah.
Because that frees up a lot of points for you to be able to upgrade the rest of that back half. The Crocodile and the Sneasler, or the Sneasel are very good. I think Sneasel still gets Frost Breath, right? Like that's an Anger Point combo between the two of them.
Is it even still
would
a
have to double
move?
check that.
haven't even noticed if it's still a move.
I don't know for sure, but yeah, no, like it does give very
No, it
much.
doesn't get Frost Breath.
Ah, dang. It does
It's only
give very.
Beartick and Cryogonal
Yeah.
Frostlass.
It's giving Mudkips, but you have a different Tauros Pelea. Well, the Mudkips drop theirs, but you know what I mean. Different Follow Me user. It's just similar synergies, a lot of the same kind of techs. Yeah, I like the team. I think that they have a lot of potential. I can see them getting at least two of their 5, if not 3 or 4 next wins, depending on their schedule. Their second half is actually a lot weaker than their first half too. So like, I'd keep an eye out for these guys as like potential like playoff contenders. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they've been really strong. I didn't quite know what to make of the team at first, but they've proven that the tools they started with they knew how to use. I think they've made their team better with transactions. I agree definitely that the Ogerpon to Magmortar is a strong choice because they can make their team a little more balanced, a little less top heavy, and I think that is really beneficial for them, especially considering how much value they're getting out of some of these C tiers. I'm really liking a lot of the text that they're using on this team, even outside of Dialga. Some of their lower level stuff, like I think I've seen like 2 or 3 different times a Scarf Icy Wind on Mismagius or a Scarf Electro Web on Rotom. Those have been really effective. That Eviolite Scyther with the support moveset like turned out to actually be really good. When you end up clicking all 4 of your moves, you probably made a pretty good set. So I like that. Diancie has been firing on all cylinders in both divisions this season. So I really like what they've done with the Diancie. It's definitely really hard for a lot of opponents to break through, like Diancie Dialga sitting next to each other, especially when that Diancie's got a solid defensive Terra. I'm seeing a lot of good things, and I think probably the reason they don't have a positive record here is like you said, the strength of schedule. If they've got an easier time in the back half of the season, it seems very likely that they're going to be a strong playoff contender here. What do you guys think?
Yeah, Terra, Water, Diancie is so good now. Like, I actually had, like, tried to use Diancie in Series 13 of, like, Sword and Shield on my fairy team. And it's like, it freaking needed this Terra Water. Like, having Diamond Storm hit spread, and that just has, like, a double chance to proc a sharp defense boost. Like, you just get Iron Defense as a freaking spread move, and then can go straight into body press. And you're just, like, so good now that you have Terra Water to just get away from that steel weakness. And then you're just next to Dialga, and it just, like, is so good in Trick Room.
Yeah, I don't know how many people know like how those boosts work exactly, but Diamond Storm is a 50% chance to get a +2 defense per target that you hit. So if you hit both opponents,
guaranteed.
Yeah, so if you hit both opponents and nobody's protecting, there's a 25% chance you get +4 defense. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. I really think Diancie's like better than 45. After seeing how it's been doing.
Terra, yeah.
Maybe, yeah, with Terra, yeah, I think that's a big caveat, because man, that 4 times weakness on a Pokemon that's supposed to be bulky is really rough. I think there's definitely a conversation to be had about whether it should be moved into S, but it's interesting. I don't know if anybody's really drafted Diancie to any good success here in this league, whether we're talking Gen 9 or earlier, which is probably why it's down here in A tier. But I've been really I love seeing mythicals pop off. So
yeah, for real.
Yeah, happy to see it.
I also want to see this Grumpig do literally anything. I just don't know anything about it. I remember in Gen 6 when I was completing my national decks for all the generations. Literally, Spoink and Grumpig were the only thing I was missing that was completely missing, and I couldn't breed for or evolve. So it's just so forgettable. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it does something. It might be just some kind of backup Trick Room setter, but man, Diancie and Dialga have that covered. So I don't know.
Right,
I might have I might have stuck with the Dunsparce even. Who knows?
I could see sticking with the Dunsparce over it, but yeah.
I think keeping... Is the Dunsparce 15 or...
Yeah.
Yeah, then I think keeping the Dunsparce would have gone a long way, because then you could have done some rattled weakness policy beat-up shenanigans with Sneasel.
Well, that's interesting, yeah. All right, any final thoughts on this team, guys?
What?
I think they have a really good draft. Just looking at it here, it's super well-rounded. You have 10 completely totally usable Pokemon. The only people are fighting for the same item are Sneasel and Scyther, which you don't even have to bring the same week. So yeah, I think this is probably the best draft I've seen that involves having a 90-point Pokemon.
Big agree there, yeah.
Yeah, especially with
a very solid team.
Yeah, especially with the trades. It's surprising to see how well balanced it is now, even with the Dialga still. So, yeah, I'm seeing a positive trajectory for these guys. All right, moving on to number 10. We've got the Mega Skankascons. Kai, you're up.
Hello. Okay. Listen, I think that these guys are doing pretty well considering the team, right? 3-3. Not my favorite draft. It doesn't have a lot of immediate offense. Blizzy certainly was not helping with that, but neither is Carbon. I think that Terrainless Crown is a little rough. Moltres needs to kind of set up to get going. Swampert can throw its weight around a little bit, but it's kind of and Mienshau's only going to be around for one hit for the most part, right? You got your double fake out guys, and then it's kind of bulky nothing burger city, right? That being said, they're still 3-3 despite that. And they've already gotten through the majority of the hard teams. So I'm not down on them. Like, I feel like they're making it work. A couple key trades, I think, out of those like 15 slots, maybe even getting some more value out of your crown for 45 could be pretty solid. Because like, yeah, like the rest of the weeks seem pretty chill. I think their hardest remaining opponent is probably the Strudel Bombs, especially now that Josh is back from Worlds and has more time to put like prep into this league. But like other than that, like they can pick it up. Like, yeah, I don't see the vision, but they're making it work. Is I think the TLDR.
Yeah, I was much more skeptical of this team at first, and I do still think, like you said, some trades could be good here. Iron Crown especially, you kind of already have a decent steel type, so you don't even need to stick with that. There's a lot of other stuff in A tier, especially, that could really break open this team. There's a lot of different options there, and I don't think there's even one specific direction you have to go with it. I think the rest of the team is solid enough that you could just sort of look for something new without being like, oh, I need to shore up this or that. And I've also gotten a lot higher on these guys as I've been watching them play. I think as they improve and get more used to the multi-battle format, and I mean this is a common theme for a lot of teams here. A lot of people have like VGC experience, but the multi-battle format is more new and a little bit weird to work with. But I see these guys improving. I see them putting in serious effort. And I mean, anybody who is streaming or recording matches with live commentary, props to any team who's doing that. So big thumbs up to the Mega Skankus Cons for that as well as many other teams. But I see a lot of potential, not just in Pokemon here, but in the players. I think they're taking it seriously. They're working on their multi-battle skills, and I think we're gonna see probably most likely a positive record from them by the end.
Yeah. I just also noticed, because I didn't have this noted before, but like, do you need 3 fake outs?
Yeah, that was one of the things.
Oh my god, you do have 3 fake outs, and like 3 like good ass fake out users.
Yeah, you have 3 really good fake out users.
Well, I think in our match, they didn't use fake out with Tinkaton, did they?
No.
It was like
we
an
have
offensive Terra Raw.
So...
I mean, Instant is more of like a utility bot, but Mineshaw and Tinka could definitely be taken in any direction and not have to rely on the fake out. It's a good way to keep people on their toes. So I think keeping the 3 fake outs isn't a bad idea.
No, I don't think that's bad. I think maybe you want to diversify your support a little bit. Like if you're okay with getting rid of Iron Crown, maybe you go with something that can like still deal some damage in that slot, but maybe also has some support options that are a little bit more different from what you'd get from these 3 fake out users. Just one possible direction you could take it.
something like an Ogre Pond where you have like damage and follow me or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. An A tier equivalent, yeah. Or like a Thunderous is on the brain, since we were just looking at the intrusive nasty plots. That's definitely combo damage support kind of thing. So there's some options there for that. Any other thoughts on
the overlap? They have a lot of room to do some swapping and retinkering.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we need like a few more swaps. I don't know what Carbink's doing. Like, if anyone would know what Carbink's doing, it's me. Like, I know that it has Trick Room Sturdy, and like you can do body press just like Diancie, but it's just obviously not as good. So, and you have this Iron Crown with nothing that that's known for supporting an Iron Crown, like whether it be Psychic Terrain or whatever. Like I want to see something here that like supports the Iron Crown, because I think it's like can be a strong piece in draft, even though it's not that good, and it's not as good as you would want it to be in VGC, but it's still like usable.
Yeah. I'll stick up for the Carbink a little bit, though. I agree with you about the Iron Crown. The Carbink, though, they don't really have a lot of Trick Room stuff here. Giraffe Rig can be good, but it's a little bit weird. Carbink may be a little bit more reliable with as a Trick Room user with Sturdy. Hera helps it a lot, just like we were talking about with Diancie. Body Press is strong, and hell, I think we just saw these guys blow up the Thunderous from the Devon Powers fan club with a Power Meteor Beam on Carbink. So that was kind of
classic.
I didn't know it got that. Okay, that's something new.
I was about to chime in when you were done that Carbink is a Riona special. The
Yeah.
offensive power of Meteor Beam is something they use fairly often in VGC.
Yeah, and it's
Okay.
I mean, if you're getting super effective hit with it, who gives a shit if it has like 50 base attack? It's gonna kill a Thunderous, so
Yeah,
that was cool to see.
That's cool. I didn't know that, so that's like brand new. It's like we gotta like keep updated. I think another crazy tech on this team that would be insane to see is Meganium and Giraffe Rig. Giraffe Rig actually has Sap Sipper. You could like do some crazy like Petal Blizzard, like Sap Sipper thing, or I've seen like skill swap in like Sun and Moon. Someone like kicked my ass one time with this crazy team that was like Giraffe Rig Swampert, and I was like, oh, what's this gonna be? This is easy. And they skill swapped Sap Sipper onto Swampert, and then at that point it has no weaknesses. I could see that being like really good. I'm probably shouldn't be revealing that that's a thing, but like I've seen it and they have the pieces.
That is heat as hell. You bring in Megadium, start Petal Blizzarding up next to your Swampert, give it attack boosts.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like I see the vision there, and I love this Johto trio of Meganium, Lantern, Giraffe Rig. It's like I love to see it.
That sounds like a lot of setup, but maybe.
It does sound like a lot,
Yeah.
but it's fun, okay? And they are very fun. Like the streams are hilarious to watch. I love the Briar like avatar thing that talks like that cracks me up like the whole time I'm watching the videos.
All right. Any final thoughts on the Mega Skankascons? Going once, going twice, and number 9, the Shroodle Bombs. All right, Shroodle Bombs here. Their situation feels very similar to the Omaha Cinnabons, right? For one thing, I wanted to mention this when we were on the Omaha Cinnabons page, but I forgot. They are at least. One of them was competing in Worlds, maybe all 3, I'm not actually sure. So they are probably going to have some more time to dedicate to match prep now that Worlds is over, just like the Shroodle Bombs are. Because I know, like, Worlds caliber players who we know have succeeded in this league in the past, like Josh and Ryan, for example. Seeing them here at 2 and 3 is a little bit unusual, but I don't expect to see Josh and Abby stay here either. Partially because I think maybe this is just wishful thinking, but I'm thinking there are probably going to be some more transactions coming up for them. The Zacian comp here has turned out to be a little bit lackluster, at least compared to the other Zacian comp here that we have in the opposite division. It feels a little bit kind of disjointed to me. I don't think Zacian is supported as here quite as well as on the other team. I can see them doing some good stuff sometimes. Like they've had that game against Devon Powers fan club where they brought in that Sinistia to like really just counter that belly drum Poliwrath set. That was really cool. They did a lot of damage under Trick Room, and Raging Bolt I've seen doing a lot of good work too. So it's not just the Zacian. There are good pieces here, but they've taken more losses than I think I would have expected them to take. So part of this is like this team, I think more than a lot of others, is a team that I'm waiting to see more. I know I've we've said that about a lot of these teams, but I'm feeling that way more about the Strudel Bombs than most. Partly because of the Worlds thing, they're probably spending a lot more time prepping for Worlds than for MBC beforehand. I don't know what the trajectory of the team is going to look like moving forward with potential future trades, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what this team is, what these two are going to look like and their team on the latter half of the season here. Hi, what does their strength of schedule look like for the second half?
It's a little easier on the second half, but even-ish. But like you said, like this is kind of post Josh returning from Worlds and having more time to dedicate to this. So I can see it getting kind of nasty from here. I also think that the Magmar wasn't doing a lot. They had talked to me a little bit in person about their draft at the last like pre-Worlds local prep thing, and like Sinistcha and Magmar together were a little bit too passive, and they prefer the more active role that Gastrodon and Weavile can deliver, I think, which is kind of the big thing. They wanted like more ground damage and things like that. So, yeah, I think that this is a team to look out for. I think I have them going like X and 1 for the rest of the season.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, certainly possible. I think I'd probably like to see. I totally get what you mean about Sinistcha Magmar being too passive together, so that trade makes a lot of sense. The Gastrodon, I would worry about maybe being a little bit too passive, not offensive enough. Having a ground type here is good, especially with on the Zacian comp. But something with a little bit more damage output might be better. I think Mudsdale is down there in B tier. Might be a few other ground types. No more Mamoswine, I guess, but there's probably some other options.
I think I want to say Mamoswine got sniped from them in the middle of that transaction cycle.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, it did.
It did.
And they had to pivot, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense. All right. Well, let's see. Brenden, Nick, any thoughts on the Strudel Bombs?
I think it was like a little crazy dropping the straight follow me user, because it's like there's so few that use like follow me instead of Rage Powder. But like I get wanting like a ground type when you're using Zacian, like especially without being able to use Rusted Sword. I think it's like cool that you're getting to like use it and try to like see what other like held items might work for its base form. Because then you're like Mono Fairy. It's not, the weakness is completely switched when you like add Steel to that. So it is like, it feels like running like a whole different Pokemon. But yeah, I think having fake out, like a fast fake out's good. And you still have Rage Powder. You could still see like a Sword Stance setup if you wanted to do that, but you don't even like have to. Because you could use like Assault Vest or something now if you wanted to.
I also like Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say the Magmar trade makes more sense than dropping Sinistcha, I think, because you have two Eviolite mono fire types, and I think that Torracat's the better one to keep if you want to keep one of your redirectors.
Yeah, and you have like Fake Out on Torracat.
Yeah.
They've also been getting so much mileage out of that Sinistcha. It is
Sinistcha's
very difficult to get off the field.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what Weavile's going to do too. I like seeing more fast support potentially alongside that Zacian there. For maybe just some fast icy winds or like Snarl or something like that. That might be kind of cool. So looking forward to seeing that. I believe these guys also had a bye, just like the Omaha Cinnabons did. So we haven't actually seen the Gastrodon and Weavile in action yet, since their bye was just before Worlds. So we'll see those soon. Looking forward to it. All right, moving on to number 8. Here we have the Potatoes. Ty, you're up.
Henry and Alyssa. Listen. I say this with a loving heart. This is the most one-dimensional team in the league. But despite that, I still have you guys trending at like easily second in your division. From my perspective anyway. Okay, here's the thing, right? Like, yes, is Giratina, Azumarill, Chien-Pao, Volcarona the most predictable thing known to me? Yes. Is Mesprit a good trade? Probably not. Are Tandemaus, Happiny, and Rhyhorn doing anything? No. Does Cranidos have 105 attack? Surely.
Isn't it 125?
Oh, it might be 125, you're right. I'm thinking of Solosis. But despite all that, it is Henry Rich and it is Alyssa, and they are two of the strongest players in this league who have an extremely high amount of experience in draft. So like, they just kind of win anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I think it would be irresponsible to rank these guys anything less than 10th for the rest of the season. Like, it's just kind of my thought process there. But the team is one-dimensional enough that, like, I still don't feel comfortable putting them in the top 5. Does that make sense? Like, that's kind of my thought process here. They have a harder back half of their season. I think they're going into the Anti-Spam Society next week. And they still have No Small Reap and Us later in the season. So, like, it's not a cakewalk for a back half, but, like, I think that if anybody can pull it out, it's them. I don't even know what you would transact on this team besides just, like, turning Giratina and Tandemaus into, like, 260s. You know what I mean? Not quite that much, but...
Just not Mesprit.
Yeah, I don't get the Mesprit.
Is Mesprit their mascot?
No.
The B tier mascot pick?
Mesprit did get points in Australia. Maybe that's the reference here.
Ooh.
If they were gonna have a mascot pick, I'm sure it would have been Dialga. They had the opportunity to pick it too, but Giratina instead for some reason. Yeah,
Henry has been popping off with Giratina in the actual real VGC.
Okay, cool. So that gives us a little more context here, so that's good to know. Yeah, because that's not something I was expecting anybody to pick, really. So cool to see it, and actually cool to see them having some success with it. I still maintain, just like in our preseason power rankings, I still maintain on paper, this is the worst team in the league. Like, there's no getting around it. But they're still having some success with it, because it's like you said, they're extremely strong players. I mean, Henry especially, he's a world's caliber player. You've probably seen him once or twice on a PPCI stream if you're keeping up with that. And he's they're both showing how strong they are here, even with what is to most eyes a lackluster team compared to the rest of the field. So, but they're making it work, especially with that Scrafty. I'm not sure anybody's had as much value out of a D tier as they've had with Scrafty, especially because they're really forced to bring it every game. So, weird team, but things are going well.
Yeah. Am I mistaken in remembering that Henry is the only regional champion in this league? I don't know if Allan's ever won a regional championship.
No.
Would be my next guess, but
yeah,
he probably is.
He probably would be. Yeah. And one of our few world caliber players as well. I don't think he played this year, but usually does. Let's see. Brenden, Nick, any thoughts on the potatoes?
Other than just the clearly, like, I agree with you completely. This is like the worst draft I've seen. I'm like, bro, like, how are y'all even winning? Because you're just like, yeah, like you said, you're forced to bring Scraggy, and it's like, bro, like, being forced to bring something that's not fully evolved is just inherently, like, kind of bad. I think Mesprit is really bad, so I'm excited to see if that, like, works out for them. But I will say what is probably carrying them is, like, the sleeper pick of Azumarill. Like, Azumarill is so good, and people are, like, sleeping on it and have been like all this whole generation, except that one meta where everybody got tired of Palafin and was like, wait, there's a Azumarill.
Volcarona's been really strong too. Like,
Yeah, it has.
this is one of many teams where like there's really like there's a U tier here, but there's a lot of really really good shit to highlight even outside of that U tier. To me, Volcarona is maybe even the MVP of this team. It's been very strong for
Did
them.
Volcarona go, if I'm not mistaken, didn't it go like 15-0 like the first week?
I don't
Like
know.
15-1, something like that. Like I think they swept an entire team with Volcarona like 3 times.
Well, they're 19-10 with Volcarona right now.
Ooh.
And they're the Chen Pao is the star. 20-7.
Crazy.
Yeah, so good shit despite not having a very good team, guys. Good shit.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to number.
They know what they want to do and they're doing it.
Oh, clearly, yeah, absolutely. Okay, number 7. We've got the Sneeds of Ruin. Nick, you're up.
I think they clearly have a really well-rounded draft. The point allocations are great. Them dropping Mamoswine might have seemed like crazy, but the Inteleon pickup is actually really good. Inteleon's actually something I wanted to draft, and that like actually fucked up our entire draft, but we'll just quickly move on from that. I did notice that that they are really doing it. They did a really good job with it in their like more recent matches. Like people don't know this, but it has like Sniper, and then you have like they used Air Cutter, which is kind of like a weak move, but like those crit, like a spread move with high crit is like just so good, especially on this like water type for grass coverage. And then we actually battled them, and then of course the one battle I was not involved in, we freaking lose to just Appleton, which is like such a random like it's like
We
one
don't
of their
talk about
lower
Appleton.
tier. Yeah, it's like Appleton's actually really good. Like, what a sleeper pick. Other than that, like from what I've seen of their battling, they could probably improve in that department. But obviously, they're going 3-2, so they're at least like decent at it. But I did notice that they battled one of the more weaker teams and like kind of like lucked out and won because of a freeze. It's like you kind of don't want like stuff like freezes to be your win condition, but they have all the pieces here, so I think that like as long as they like are aware that it's like, hey, you need to like really bring it with all these pieces that you have, they'll probably like do really well and can potentially like make playoffs. Chi-Yu, this Inteleon pickup is really big because they have Chi-Yu, and I think that Chi-Yu Inteleon's a good matchup, especially with like Alolan Ninetales, and then you have Dragapult that you could run special if you like wanted. And they have like they have a Follow Me user, they have Fake Out, Intimidate, Gale Wings, Tailwind. Like they have like all the support pieces you would want mixed with really good offense. Oh yeah, and they even have a Royval and Ninetales. Yeah, they have like such good. It's like a really good balance of support and offense on the same team, and I really think that they're gonna do well.
Yeah, I'm still really high on this team on paper. Like I like Mamoswine for some things on this team, but the Inteleon adds a lot to it as well. I totally agree with you. Inteleon Chi-Yu, very strong combo. And it's water types especially are like this fast offensive kind of water type is interesting because most of the time you go for a water type, a lot of people go for like bulky waters. It's a great defensive typing, you know. But Inteleon's a little weird, right? It's got some other stuff that those bulky waters, like maybe a Blastoise or like a, I don't know, Tapu Finney's not in the game, but you know what I mean. It's got a fast icy wind, faster than Chi-Yu even. That's gonna help next to the fish. Definitely really good offense. I don't need to tell you that water and fire work well together. So I really like that combo there. I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. And aside from that, I mean, just I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I've already talked this team up in our preseason power rankings. But it's got all the same shit, you know. huge variety of support and defense and offense, and just many different options. I'm curious about the strength of schedule here for this team moving forward, because they have had that weird, like you said, they've played some of the lower ranked teams, but at the same time you guys are one of the higher ranked teams and they took a win off of you, so there's kind of both things going on here. So Kai, what do we got? What's strength of schedule looking like for these guys?
Second half is a little bit harder, but it's very even. Like they're one of the closer, like they have one of the more spread out schedules, I'd say. So I think that I'm pretty high on them, especially after the Inteleon drop here or pickup here, because like, you know, I maybe a little bit biased from Nick and my first season of Scarlet and Violet. I think it was season 7. We had the Chiyu and bundle, and it gives me a very Inteleon's almost like a half off bundle, right? You get 30 points instead of 60, and you still get like that super fast like nuclear water damage, right?
Yeah.
So like, now that they have a real speedster that can sit next to Chiyu and just dish out damage that can't be redirected, crazy. Like honestly insane. Like I think that this team is shooting for the moon.
Especially with Scope Lens, the thing is, and next to Beads of Ruin, the thing is gross. All right, any other thoughts on the Sneeds of Ruin, guys? Going once, going twice. Number 6, the mediocre Mudkips. Okay, so Mudkips this season have been doing pretty good. 4-2 record. We talked about Nosemole Reap a little bit. This team is pretty similar. I'm having a hard time figuring out which one I like better at this point, especially with the improvements that Nosemole Reap has made. But this team is just very. It's been very hard for their opponents to break through. Especially this last week, I watched them playing against the Rural Jurors, and they just plopped Dialga and Clefairy on the field, and they just both tore through so much of their opponent's team, and they were even using an Iron Defense body press set with Dialga, still with like 1 or 2 attacks, I think, special attacks. So I thought that was a really cool set, definitely adding some more variety in there. I don't think we've seen any body press stuff from any of the Dialgas so far. Their Kilowattrel and Garchomp combo has been really strong so far, and they had pretty much the same amount of success with the Mamoswine in the last game that I watched from them. Looking forward to seeing what the Arcanine's going to do. I don't think we've seen anything from that yet since it's a new pickup. But yeah, the Disquake combo is really strong. Milotic is really tough to break through. They've been oscillating between the 2 abilities on Milotic a little bit more than usual, which I think is good. I think they historically have been a little bit too stuck into the Marvel scale stuff. But throwing competitive on there when you've got Intimidate on the other side of the field is really strong. Or even when you just have other things that might drop your stats. If you're expecting like Icy Wind support, fuck it, put Milotic on the field to soak up that ice attack real easy and get a boost, So good to see them breaking out there. Just a really strong team with that's standing up to most opponents that they've encountered so far. So what do you think, guys?
I think that the team, the Mamoswine, the Garchomp to Mamoswine in particular, Intimidate Fire type to Intimidate Fire type, cool. Arcanine's a good pickup, but that particular pickup, right? When we were prepping against the Mudkips, we immediately looked at the Garchomp Kilowattrel lead, and we're like, oh, Trick Room's free if we just Terra Grass the setter. But that's not an option anymore into Mamoswine. Like the ice ground coverage, that makes the Disquake so much scarier. This is just a match made in heaven, I think, for their team. I think the Mamo is really going to take off and add an extra oomph to this team that we haven't seen so far.
I don't think Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
Sorry. I was gonna say, I think the Mamoswine trade is like really good. I saw in the other division like the same exact thing with the Disquake Kilowattrel. Mamoswine's definitely better than Garchomp, like for in this situation typing wise. You're not like, you don't have to like Terra out of a quad weakness. You also get like Ice Shard priority and just like the ice type coverage to deal with like grass, which is like what resists both types in that strategy. And then just aside from that, you have like a team of 7 really good things. So it's kind of like that counters like having like 3 bad things that you just basically can't use, because you still have like 7 things. You still have like an alternate slot to like trade out to like make sure that something works. And like Ambipom's really good, Dialga's really good. This is a good way to use a 90 and still get like 7 usable Pokemon.
Hey, Turtwig gets wild card.
Sure, Eviolite Turtwig, let's go.
No, don't forget about the Terra Dark Crunch Turtwig.
Oh yeah, that did that. I
From,
mean,
the other team.
What's that, Viv?
No. That was.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't remember that was
Size
Viv
Spam
because that was like
Society.
a different team. Yeah. Okay, sure. Maybe you
Don't
got
sleep
8.
on Turtwig.
I just really like Mamoswine in general in this generation. I feel like it like in this league, even as we've played through Gen 9, I'm not sure when Mamoswine exactly was added to Scarlet Violet, but I think it's sort of a hidden gem in the Terra generation. I tried using it a bit last gen with in Dynamax, and it was just kind of awkward. Like, it's got a mid-range speed with like tons of weaknesses. You really want to use it to hit grass types, but it's weak to grass. You want to use it to hit steel types, but it's weak to steel. It's now that it has like this. It has the typing that you would want on a glass cannon, right? Really strong offensive typing in ground and ice, but you poke it with like one of many different types and it just dies. So now that it has the chance to get rid of that shit defensive typing and still keep its offensive capabilities, I think it's a really strong piece. And frankly, if it were up to me, because of the way that Mamoswine interacts with Terra, I actually think it's worth an A tier slot, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think I don't know about all that, but like I do think that the change of like hell to snow is really good for something like Mamoswine. That's like, this was like a bulkier ice type that you now can like stack maybe like Aurora Veil onto if you're like using it with another ice type, or just like having snow. I mean, they don't have it on this team, but like I think that made it like a better Pokemon even outside of Terra. So it's like going forward, like if we don't have Terra in the future, we still have the snow buff. Like I think that's a benefit for Mamoswine over the old version of Hail.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. That snow helps out a lot of different Pokemon, especially that Ninetales that we saw in the Sneeze of Ruin. Big buff to ice types that change. Any other thoughts on this team before we move on to our top 5? Going once, going twice. Number 5 is the Nebby Backpackers. Nick, you're up.
Okay, so we have history with this team. They have beaten us, I think, twice in finals. For sure once that I like for sure remember very vividly being like, wow, that was embarrassing. Like, we're in finals and we just like got destroyed.
Yeah. Twice, yes, for sure. Because the first time was the experimental season, and then they beat us in season 8.
Okay.
In finals, yeah.
So yeah, so we know they're really good battlers. So like, not even like looking at their draft, which they've not even done any trades, so they're very confident in their draft as it is. And we know from experience that they're really good battlers. I just think they're like primed to do really well, and like they have like a chance at for really now that we're in like these top 5, like these are all the teams that have like a real shot at like straight up winning the whole thing for sure. I don't know about like their future matchups, but like being 5-1 with this team is really good. They have like that same, we just saw in the last thing, the Disquake lead with Mamoswine Kilowattrel. That's really good. They kind of have like a very similar team structure to the mediocre Mudkips, where they have like a steel legendary. I think Necroza Duskmane is really good. I actually noticed in their battles, I was like, are they ever going to even use physical Duskmane? Like, it's a physical attacker, and they're just, here's like Calm Mindset after Calm Mindset with Photon Geyser instead. I'm like, I'm shocked every time, and they're doing so well with it. And they've shown, what I saw in those battles, they showed that Fungus is probably the best pick out of the 15-point tier. Because it's so, like, you can do its EVs in a way that makes it super bulky. You don't even have to commit to Terra to it. It's really good at countering Trick Room. If you need that Spore to counter Trick Room, because they have, like, a more faster team. And they have this Screamtail, which is just so, like, disruptive with, like, I've noticed they've been going for, like, the Disable Encore thing. And that seems like it's really, as it's good in VGC, it seems like it's doing really well in this league, too. Or, like, forcing people to switch out. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I just, like, I just have only good things to say. And I'm, like, I love the confidence of not feeling like they need to do any transactions.
Yeah, I think they're getting a huge amount of value out of a lot of these non-U tier picks here. Screamtail, for sure, like you said, is working incredibly well. That's one of the Dan specialties. Let's see, what else? Fungus, like you said, is definitely punching above its weight. It's very strong with Eviolite. Tyranitar, for some reason, the league let get into A tier. So maybe we'll fix that next season.
And they got to do the whole, like, we use Terra Ghost to block fighting types from the trailer, and it worked.
Yeah, yeah. And also, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the special sets they used on Necrozma was a Power Herb Meteor Beam set. Which,
yeah, that happened.
Yeah, so that's really cool. They've definitely they definitely said, like, especially in the preseason or early season, there's a lot of stuff that we have plans for all of these Pokemon. We're definitely gonna make use of special Necrozma. They've definitely done that. Now I want to see some more of the weird stuff they have in store with the Meditite and the Pignite. So, because they claim they have plans for those. We'll see. I know a little bit about what they might want to do with the Meditite, Pignite, who knows. But yeah, really fucking strong team. I agree, the Necrozma Screamtail, even though Screamtail is not a redirector, it's a different kind of very powerful fairy-type support Pokemon, but it's still very reminiscent of this, like, Dialga Clefairy comp that we're seeing on the Mudkips, or even the Dialga Diancie that we're seeing from Nosemal Reap. So, big Steel type restricted with a very powerful Fairy type support Pokemon, maybe is kind of good.
Yeah, if I had a nickel for every team that was a U tier Steel type with a support fairy next to it that also included Mamoswine, Kilowattrel, and Ambipom, I'd have 2 nickels, and they're both in the top 6.
Yeah, definitely very similar team comps, that's for sure. Any other thoughts on the Nebby Backpackers? I know it's a little bit like, once we get to the good teams, it's a little bit harder to be nitpicky. It's more just like, look at how awesome this shit is, but...
Yeah.
Right.
I do think I think that it's kind of cool that they've turned NDM into Lunala in a way. Like, I remember I was fighting a Lunala Screamtail team at Atlanta this year in day 2 that kicked my ass. That was like focused around setting, just Calm Mind cycling on Lunala with fake out stuff and then Screamtail disruption. But like, it's just the same thing, but in a much lower format where NDM is just being Lunala here, and it's really funny.
Yeah, with a better defensive typing too.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it for the Nebby Backpackers. Moving on to number 4, we've got the Devon Powers Fan Club. Ty, you're up.
Okay. So remember when I mentioned that the avocado allergies had the hardest first half of their season and compared to their back half? The Devon Power Fan Club has the second hardest first half of their season compared to their back half. Their back half's even easier than the Avocado Allergies back half, and they're already 4-2. This is, I think, my sleeper pick to win the league. Personally, I think that they're insanely difficult to prep for. There is so much bullshit on this team that you can do, and it's two of the most bullshit brothers you've ever met in your life that are cooking with them. I think the Colossal trade is disgusting because it just adds yet another layer of it that is just so hard to deal with. Like, in trying to prep for this team going into next week, like, these are our opponents this week. There's just not a consistent line because there's just so much shit they can do, right? So you just kind of have to put your own game plan together and pray, which is, I think, is the reason why they're here, right? It's also worth noting, after our battle this week, they have 3 more battles, and the grand total number of wins that those 3 teams have is 1.
Oh no.
no.
Oh,
These
man.
3 are going to be probably the first in our division, if I had to guess. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Yeah. There was what, the belly drum Polyrath with the water absorb with Surf Latios. They've done Poltegeist shit. The Ogre Pawn is scary. The Thorns and the Thunderous can be nightmares if you let them get going. Like, the Thwacky, I think, was on the kill leaderboard for the first 3 weeks. Like, I don't know what to expect out of them, and that's the scariest part, right?
Which is exactly what you're supposed to do in draft. Like,
exactly.
Like this team, these 3, they are. Well, they're doing exactly that. They're doing exactly what we're supposed to do in draft. This is the most draft league team, I think, maybe, that we have. And they're playing it exactly how you're supposed to. They're doing way different shit every week. They've got lots of creativity. Creativity that is, like, not only wacky and unexpected, but, like, tailored to the matchup, because sometimes you come up with some wacky strategy it's a whole lot of bullshit, doesn't really work. Coming up with something like that is actually good for the matchup is one of my favorite things to see in draft ever, and they're really good at that. And having a team that allows them all those different options just increases the skill ceiling for them. I think probably more than any other team, I look forward to clicking on their battles maybe more than anybody else. There's always something interesting, something fun. Even if they lose the game, they're doing something crazy that I love seeing. And that, like, at least has a decent chance to work. So, there's a lot of good here. I strength of schedule wise, I definitely agree. They're on their way to getting that bye into top 8 most likely. Because if you're for those of you not familiar with the playoff structure, if you get top 3 in your division, you automatically advance to top 8. Spots 4 and 5 in each division have to play against each other for the last couple of spots in top 8. So I think these guys, yeah, I'm very confident they'll end up in that top 3, even if they don't. For sure, we'll see them in Wild Card Week. Yeah, I can't sing their praises enough. It's just this is the most draft league team I think I've seen, and I fucking love it.
Yeah, I think this is all the other teams need to take notes, especially the newer teams. It's like, this is how you do a multi-battle draft. Like, we are facing them next week, and I'm like, I don't know what we're going to do. They have so many options, and that alone is just so good in multi-battle. Like, you have the Thunderous with just, like, Prankster Thunderwave, which is already just good. And then you have Manual Terrain for 2 Iron Pokemon. You have, now that they have Colossal, they have Aqua Jet Primarina as an option into Colossal. They have Follow Me. You could Follow Me, Poltegeist, Shell Smash. You have Fake Out on Thwacky that also like can win a terrain war. You have Swift Swim, Poliwrath if you wanted to go Rain Dance on the Thundurus. Like, you just have so many things. And then you still have Latios. I didn't even mention Latios. Like, it's just, there's so much you can do. And I think that they got the best Ogerpon for considering the rest of their draft. It's like, you don't even need the Follow Me, but it is there if you want it.
Yeah, definitely. The Latios down there is almost like hiding. Like, you don't even, if you're prepping against your team, their team, you might forget about it for a moment, and then halfway through you realize, oh shit, that Latios is down there with like the 15 pieces. Maybe I should pay some more attention to that. And
yeah, it's like, what do you?
The Colossal too. Like, I expected. We're all used to Gen 8 Colossal, right? You just do steam engine shit. They're making better sets than that, frankly. Like, I think I may have seen like Assault Vest and Body Press on one set at one point. Meteor Beam they've done. They're just kind of using Colossal's natural bulk and like a good defensive Terra to just like be an annoying bulky Pokemon on the field that can do some moderate damage. It's very different from how you'd expect a Colossal to be played in Gen 8, but I think it's better considering that this is a Terra format versus a Dynamax format.
Yes, I've been working on a team for like 3 weeks prepping for them. It's been an absolute nightmare to get a handle on lines into them. It's just such a diverse and well-rounded team.
Indeed. All right, any final thoughts on number 4 before we move on to the top 3?
Everyone take notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. Definitely. Okay, number 3, we've got the Anti-Psy-Spam Council. Brenden, you're up.
I mean, it's straightforward Trick Room here. It's very, very bulky, slow team with the craftiest little thing possible with Mew. They just have a lot of boosting options and the staying power to just sit in your face, set up, and then just bludgeon you. This level, it might not look like it would have done as well. I'm using that a little lightly, but just Ting Lu in this kind of format is obnoxious. It's just so bulky, so powerful. And you have that next to Iron Hands just to make... You can use whatever item you want with Iron Hands if there's a Ting Lu sitting next to it. They've used a lot of... They have the 3 S tiers, and they're making great use of those points with what they've picked. And they have the Diancie as well, which we talked about earlier on one of the other teams. It's just such a great pick to go with a Trick Room team. And then recently they dropped off, which was it? They dropped the Jigglypuff and Gothorita for Glimmet and Trevenant. Glimmet is actually just a glass cannon that can set up toxic spikes for your troubles of trying to get rid of it. It has, I think it has power of Meteor Beam off 105 special attack, so it's surprisingly powerful for how frail it is. And then Trevenant, you can run it offensively, defensively, support. It has obnoxious Citrus Berry Harvest. There's just so much diversity to this team. It's slow, but it's well-rounded.
I think this team ended up succeeding a lot more than you might expect a team to succeed when it looks this one-dimensional. Especially because it looked a lot more one-dimensional back when it still had the Bronzong on it instead of the Articuno. But they don't, like... It's not as simple as, like, well, we've got this dedicated rain mode, and we're just going to play it as a rain mode, and if people counter rain, then we're screwed. It's not really like that. It's they're not playing it as like, okay, well, we're just going to set up Trick Room and sweep. Like, that's definitely a part of it, but this team has they've ended up using so many different shenanigans that like they don't even always need to rely on speed control because like they have so much bulk. Like Penglu, Iron Hands, like you said, everybody knows what they're up to, especially when you put them next to each other. Mew and Diancie, I loved that coaching Diancie set. Especially because you can keep just launching those boosted Diamond Storms and then boost up your own body presses even further. That was really strong. So, like, it looks simple and straightforward on paper, but they're not playing it that way, and I think that's a huge part of why they're having so much success here. I also like the Articuno as, like, an expanding force kind of user because normally you wouldn't be able to do that. Like, last gen, Articuno seemed so lackluster because it was a psychic type that couldn't spam expanding force because it's a flying type. You don't get that same benefit. But when you Terra Psychic, you drop your flying type, and that thing ended up doing a lot of damage, being a expanding force spammer. And Mew being faster just sets up the terrain manually. So that was really cool to see. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with how these guys are doing.
Yeah, I saw that manual psychic terrain battle, and I was like, that is crazy. Like, that's so good. I love that they have 2 mythicals. I think that's cool. It is surprising that even though they only have basically like 6 usable Pokemon, and like the other ones are very like, you wouldn't want to bring them, but I guess 2 of them are like, you could if you wanted to, like that other team that has to bring Scraggy, for example. It's like this team has the benefit of like not having to, but they can replace one of their 6 good Pokemon with Scraggy if they have to. But yeah, I think there's just like that Mew Articuno, the Galarian Articuno, like that duo is really good. And then you have the Diancie, which I talked about before, is really good with Terra Water. I didn't see the coaching thing, but that's really good. Mew is just really good because you get every TM in the game. And there's like over 200 now. Like that's a lot to like try to figure out like what you wanted to use.
I love Mew. It's so fun, especially in draft. Yeah. Any other final thoughts on this team, guys? All right, moving on to number 2. Oh, look who it is! All right, number 2.
Wow.
Platinum Pixies. You guys are sitting at a cool 5-1. Gotta be honest, if I would have been surprised if you told me you guys were 5-1 at this point, because I wasn't super crazy about your team to begin with. I think you've definitely made it better. There's some more variety, some more damage output. Conkeldurr was a big improvement. I think that's probably the maybe the best one that you've picked up so far. We have yet to see the full potential of Samurott, I think, but so the team at first looked kind of weird to me because I wasn't really sure what the goal was of this like double dragon and DD thing. I kind of thought like, well, I don't know how good the double dragons would be together. Maybe you want to diversify a little bit more. Part of me thought like there are probably some better partners within DD, even though it can work next to these big dragons. But it had me kind of scratching my head a little bit, so which we can talk more about like the deeper motivations behind that once we do our interview in a little bit. But you could give us some surface level stuff here if you want to. Anyway, that's why I was sort of skeptical of the team, because I felt like there were better options. Felt like I wasn't quite sure of the direction, but obviously you guys have been doing really well here. Mostly what I'm seeing is that you're using these big dragons the way you're supposed to. You plop them down the field, you attack, you take hits. They're very, very high BST Pokemon. I think Kyurem has the highest base stat total of anything in the S tier. Not to say that it's like the best in the S tier. There's some things that maybe have lower stats but a better ability that I might take over Kyurem, but those stats are they offer you a lot, especially because you can swap between physical and special on the Kyurem too. So you've definitely been doing a lot of damage with those big dragon types, using their stats well. They're both frequent Terra candidates. And that's had some pretty good success, especially with some of the stuff that you've been bringing in the back. Um, the game plan I'm seeing mostly is like use the dragons more in like the early to mid game, and then clean up later with either trick room stuff with like Solosis or Slow King or Conkeldurr, even though you don't have the Slow King anymore, or clean up with some sand stuff. Because man, once you like, I was kind of skeptical of like the Houndstone and Basculegion stuff in multi battles, because the base power doesn't get quite as high, but it's not that much of a difference. It's only the ceiling is only different by 50, so you're still getting big hits off, especially if Houndstone's the last thing left in that slot. So most of your successes kind of seem to look like that, at least from my eyes. So and that's been obviously very successful. You're sitting at a nice 5-1. Obviously a big contender for one of the top 3 slots in your division. Yeah, not a lot to complain about, even though I didn't like the team at first, but maybe I was wrong. So, and you've improved it for sure with some of these trades. So,
I do
what do you guys
miss
think?
Sandaconda.
Really?
I do miss Sandaconda to an extent. Here's my thing, right? This season, a lot of the big, like, we'll get more into detail with this in the interview, but like the big theme for this team, I think, is flexibility. Like every slot on this team, save like Indeedee, has something else it can do besides the thing that you think it's gonna do. And Sanda had kind of added to that, where like, yes, it could be a tertiary, like a secondary sand setter to like help Houndstone abuse things. But like the glares were really nice. The minimized stuff was fun. Like Shed Skin actually helped a lot for 2 weeks against like several burns and sleeps that kind of came into that slot. Like it put in some work.
I don't think
like,
we ever used Sandspit.
No,
we didn't. But like in terms of like things you would expect it to do,
Oh yeah, it looks like Sandspit.
Diglett threw its weight around a lot, like way more than it had any right to. Slow King was really solid for the first couple weeks when we had it, but like this season's been a lot about like making sure our options for any given week are relatively flexible, so it's harder to prep for us, while also having an open-mindedness to like, yes, Slow King was our kill leader for the first 2 weeks. Fuck it, let's drop it because it doesn't make sense for the next 2, and like pick up something that's better for the transaction cycle, right? So like we've been very like cognizant of like what's coming up, like what can we do, and by being high up in the division, we get to be low in the transaction period. So like being able to like see what our opponents for the next 2 weeks are choosing and then counter snipe has been interesting. So we've been trying to like play the game in that way, and I think it's been working out.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think just going back to Sandaconda, I think a lot of people do make that mistake of falling into the Sandspit crap. But yeah, I don't think that's really what you want to be doing with Sandaconda. It's not reliable. If you really got something that needs that sand rush, you want to just plop something on the field that guarantees sand up. You don't want to just rely on your opponents to hit you, especially if they know what you're trying to do. That's not so good. And the little baby hippo's been actually really good for you guys. Like,
yeah, it's kind of the goat.
I mean, like it's
positive KD.
Anything like a bulky Pokemon, even any little Eviolite thing like this, just spamming Fissure, that's like that's pretty strong. Like we've seen Ting Lu do that if we're just for a higher power level kind of analog there. But Yawn is a big disruptive kind of move on this little Eviolite thing. It's maybe gonna take a few more hits than you think. You've even managed to KO some ground weak stuff with high horsepower. So I'm definitely impressed with the Hippo compared to what I would have thought of it a few weeks ago.
Well, Yawn is news to me. I'm like, I didn't even know we had that. It's like, where has that been?
Yeah.
I will say about our draft is like something that's you're gonna see that's more unusual is that we drafted those lower tier mons like in the middle instead of like you will see with the other teams they drafted like 15s and 5s like at the end. But imagine, so I kind of let Brenden take the reins with this draft like completely basically. Like I kind of was just like, yeah, like everything's fine, and I was just because they had like time to talk about it in person and stuff, and I'm like, fine, like sure, I'll just go along with whatever. So imagine being convinced to take Hippopotas 5th and then Solosis 6th, and then waking up one morning to messages of them rationalizing Shiftry as the 7th pick.
Shifter was
I
a
was
mistake.
just like, at that point, I was just like, I don't even have like the energy. I was like busy or something. I was like, I don't have the energy to fight this. Like, just fine. Let's see what happens. And I really should have that was where I should have stood my ground as like the third teammate and been like, absolutely not. Like, Shiftry is trash. And I ended up being right.
Yeah, Shiftry was probably
Like,
our biggest mistake.
The fact that Sceptile was there and we took Shiftry is like crazy.
If you look at our notepad from Brenden and I were sitting watching TCG finals at NAIC board and just trying to figure out what to do for the draft league.
Watching is a strong word.
Watching is a very strong word. If you look at our notepad at the time, I think Solosis was put onto this team third, like in terms of conceptualizations.
It was like it kept being brought up, and I'm like, we could save on that pick for later. I promise.
Yeah, you did tell us like multiple times. Wait.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and then the other draft was going faster, and one of them took. I think it was the Cinnabons took Solosis. They were like, and for our 10th pick, Solosis, and I'm like, great. Now people are gonna think about it, so we had to like pull the trigger a little earlier than I thought.
I kind of love and hate that.
And now Solosis is a legend.
Yeah, he's just a little guy.
Indeed.
I know, and I ended up using it that week, and it got 2 kills that week. It's like, I was wrong.
Oh man. Well, we're getting Solosis out of E tier next season. That's for sure.
Sorry,
All
not
right.
sorry.
Now, you guys have had a lot of real good success here. 5-1, one of our top teams so far this season. But there is one team that remains that has yet to take a single loss in all of MBC Season 9, and that would be number 1, the Anti-Sci-Spam Society, which notably is a team that has made no trades. But you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fucking fix it, right? I don't see anything broken here except for maybe this team, because holy shit, 6-0. This draft, I think is even better than we were giving it credit for in our preseason power rankings. I did mention at that time that the Zacian comp here is probably exactly what you want to go for with a Zacian comp. I love the Sci-Spam alongside it, which is just a great way to get massive neutral damage out against everything. There's very few things that resist Psychic. And then if you have a gigantic fucking Fairy type there to blow up all the Dark type immunities, that's awesome. I mean, that's peak type synergy right there. Both of these modes of Pokemon are extremely strong, and they're working together very, very well. And the team looks really top heavy once you get past those top 3. It's a lot of 15s, right? And then you get to Milotic at 30, and then just a 5 and a 10 at the bottom. A lot of really cheap Pokemon, but with the way these guys are using these low tiers, especially the Yanmega and Camerupt, it's making this team feel like they had a lot more than 300 points to work with in the first place. But they didn't. They drafted from the same fucking board as everybody else. But holy shit, the power and the value that they got it ended up being very, very strong. So they've got a really strong comp. They clearly know how to play draft. They are tailoring their prep to each matchup. They know how to use a lot of these low tier Pokemon that Speed boost Yon Mega's just incredibly fucking annoying. This Camerupt I've seen sweep in Trick Room at least once, maybe twice. The Milotic, just like the mediocre Mudkips, has been really, really hard to break through. I have no complaints here, even though the team is like, I didn't think it was as good as it is at first, but the way they're using it, the way that they've drafted, the way they're playing and prepping, it's kind of just perfect so far. And I think they've only dropped like 2 games out of 6 sets, so that's quite impressive. You know what? I have one gripe, only one. I don't think we've seen Drifloon yet, but that's a pretty minor thing. I just like Drifloon a lot in draft, so hopefully we see Drifloon make some waves here. But yeah, I mean, it's just really strong draft. They're making really good use of almost every piece here. Don't really have much more to say other than that. What do you guys think?
I think that they stole our original, because one of our plans before we did the double dragon thing was like Indeedee with Zacian, but everybody like took it. And then the only other thing I have to say about this team is like hearing this stuff about the Camerupt. It's like, Brenden, actually, I think you were the one that suggested it, and me and Ty kind of like shot it down. I really shot it down because I was like, I don't fuck with quad weaknesses, but I'm willing to admit maybe I was wrong.
Yeah, Camerupt was on my short list.
My thing with this team, right, is like I always knew they were going to be at least top 5. If not top 3 in the league, because at the end of the day, this is 2 world's caliber size spam players with an Indeedee, an expanding force user, and a fast Pokemon that can hit dark types for super effective damage, and a Torkoal equivalent. Like, there's really nothing wrong with this, and it's the people that have experience running it working together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah,
it's a nightmare to go.
It's just a nightmare. Like, they're using their actual team.
Have we battled them yet? I'm like scared to battle them.
They're in the other division.
They're in the other division.
Okay,
so
thank God.
Our Zacian team was luckily not as it didn't pressure you to go dark type, so that Zacian didn't get bonus value, I guess, is the difference between this and Josh and Abby's approach.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard. It's hard for me not to think about this team when I'm evaluating the Shroodlebomb Zacian comp, right? It's because this seems like I haven't seen a lot of Zacian comps in draft. I mean, who has? Like, especially without the rusted sword. But because who the hell uses the pure fairy type form? But yeah, it's been this feels like the perfect Zacian comp, even though we don't have a lot to go off of there. But holy shit, it's got everything you would want on paper, and it's piloted by a couple of really strong players. What more could you ask for? It just feels like everything is converging into one perfect point. So yeah, I'm curious to see who might have the best chance at putting a 1 in the L column for these guys. So who do they have left to play, Ty?
So I have them actually taking 2 L's before the end of the season, I think is my prediction.
Okay.
Let me pull up their schedule here. Sorry, I didn't have them because they weren't my team to evaluate specifically here, but so week 9, so I had them losing to the Nevi Backpackers, because I think NDM actually has a pretty good matchup into this.
Yeah.
And then I had them, who's their week 11? Who did I have them? Oh, the Shroodlebombs.
Zacian Mirror.
So I actually had them losing
The Mirror.
Zacian Mirror, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
Okay.
exactly sure why where I was going with that particular prediction, but those are my 2 predictions for their losses. But like, that's still 8-2. Worst case, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. really strong team. Definitely expect them to see in the top 3 of their division. Not much more to say other than that. Anybody got any final thoughts on the Anti-Spam Society?
Somebody stop them, please.
Yeah.
You guys, like, can anyone stand up to this?
Don't let Brandon's bald ass head get even bigger. Like, you gotta get this guy out of here.
I think we might need to require a name change next season if they're going to draft like this again, but, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the end of our mid-season power rankings. We're gonna finish off here just with another team interview similar to what we did with the mediocre Mudkips in our highlights video a few weeks ago. So, Platinum Pixies here, long-time MBC team, one of our most successful so far this season. So, I'd like to pick your brains about well, not only this season, but some Platinum Pixies history as well. Because you guys, I believe, started with us in season 5-ish. So
Yeah, it was season 5.
Okay, cool. So all right. So team interview time. Platinum Pixies. So let's start off with some league history stuff. Nick and Ty, you are the original members of the Platinum Pixies, starting off with us in season 5. So tell us a little bit about your history as a team in this league, and like what your first season especially was like, and if you have any like memorable moments from MBC history that stick out to you, or anything else that you think people should know about your team's history. Just tell us about what it's been like since you started.
I would say we didn't really know each other that well when we became a team on here. So this is like, we're really close friends now, but this is like why we're close friends. Because I think Ty had just started dating Taryn, who's like another person in the league and stuff. Like, and I thought they were going to be a team, and then I thought Dina and Anthony were going to be a team, but then you decided to stay with Anthony, and then Dina decided to stay with Taryn. So Taryn was like, oh, hey, do you want to be Ty's partner in this multi-battle league? And I was like, yeah. And the only multi-battle experience I'd ever had at that point was doing the battle tree with like my best friend, where he used mono ice and I used mono fairy. And I will say, like, when we started, like, that first season, we were, like, a disaster. So I would like to say to the new teams this season, it's like, if you're new and it's, like, a disaster right now, like, trust that we were as well. Because y'all used to do, back then, it was, like, I don't think y'all did it anymore after that season we did. But you did, like, the interviews where it was you and Anthony interviewed us. And we were, like, spouting off crazy shit in that interview that didn't even make sense. Like, Todd was, like, talking about self-procking competitive with Milotic. And it was, like, you had to be, like, in the interview, like, that's not possible. Like, what are you talking about? And then we wanted mythicals, because this was, like, before they ever had done a mythical meta in VGC at all. And I was like, well, I want a mythical if we're doing this and they're available to be used. So it's like, that was kind of like our big thing. And we picked Genesect, and I only picked Genesect because I thought there was a drive, like how it has like Douse drive and blah, blah, blah and all that. I don't know Gen 5 that well, and I thought that there was a drive for every type in the game. So I was like, oh, we're going to be so good. We have like Dynamax on this Genesect that has like access to every freaking type in the game. And so I was like, wait, it only has 4. So, I mean, there were mistakes made at the very beginning, but through the transactions, we actually were able to make playoffs even in that first, like, disastrous season. And, like, since then, we've done really well. Like, I think we've been in, like, the top 2, like, twice now.
Yeah, we've never missed playoffs. I think our worst finish was losing the wild card. I guess that counts as missing playoffs by some definitions, but...
That's close enough.
Close enough, yeah. And that was only that first season, I think. I think the big success for that first season was we got rid of our Landorus Therian, I think it was, early for Mudsdale, and then just spammed self swagger onto Dynamax Mudsdale and just steel spiked and high Max Quaked all over all over the place, right?
Yeah, which we stole that idea. I remember that was when I first started VGC in SoCal, and we ripped that strategy straight off of Token Female.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Because we had Grimmsnarl, right? It was and that worked for us so well.
Sometimes you gotta steal, especially if you're new to league and not exactly sure of everything you're doing. It's not a bad play,
I don't remember season 7 at all. I know we had. I know we had for the experimental league. We tried crit Machamp with the Gmax form next to Lugia to try to get crit Aeroblasts going off.
Which we did. We successfully got 100% crit Aeroblast. That happened.
But it was pretty bad because it was Lugia.
And we couldn't. We weren't allowed to Dynamax the Lugia. Yeah.
We had more success.
Why were y'all using Lugia?
It was a good time.
It was experimental. We were down. We were way more down to try weird things than we are right now.
Yeah, we had. I think more of our success that experimental season came from Arctovish plus Vanillux and just spamming the hell out of Fishious Rend.
Dude, Arctovish was so good.
It was so good.
It did not have dessert. It had we had freeze dry some weeks. It was really interesting.
Yeah.
Man, maybe we should do another off season so people can experiment with weird shit.
Yeah, season 7 was the first Scarlet Violet season, and we drafted Bundle Chiyu and just started fucking pressing special attacks. With Tinkaton, I think we had Serena as our kind of priority control. And a couple of other pieces that didn't do super great, but we made finals that season. Season 8, we pulled in the Pecharunt, and we just wanted to fuck around with Pecharunt for a bit, and had Goltrace Clefairy, and Hisuian Electrode, Azumarill. That was a fun squad. But I think we've never had.
Getting to use Pecharunt first. It was as soon as that DLC dropped, we didn't have 2 divisions for that season, so we were the ones that got to use Pecharunt.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun just bullshitting people with Poison Gas and Puppeteer.
Yeah, that was fun.
Nice.
But this is definitely our best season, and I think a lot of that is down to Brendan's addition, because Nick and I have a good idea of what is good in draft at this point, but Brenden is kind of the brains behind the kitchen in a sense, where our creativity only goes so far, and Brendan's does not. And the vibe, and we'll kind of get into a little bit of this season's changes here, but I think the vibe is kind of Brenden cooks out to 15, and then we reel it back to 10, and it works. And with our experience piloting and Brendan's addition of how strong his cooks are, we've really been able to see some success that we really haven't before in this league.
Yeah, adding Brenden was crazy. It's imagine, because I'm gonna be point blank. I do not do good at the prep. Ty always did all the prep, and I was okay, I'll go through and be does this make sense, yes or no, and we'll make changes. But I don't do any of the calcs, any of that, decide what we're bringing. So imagine now we have Brenden with us, who is even crazier than Ty has been in the past about running calcs and cooking. And now I have 2 of them, and the only thing I have to do now is just reel it back. I'm okay, that's too crazy. Let's come back to Earth here for a second, and
he didn't catch the weakness policy Terra Rock gouging fire with.
I didn't. I saw it and was you know what? And we were undefeated, and I was you know what? Since we're undefeated, I'm gonna just let them ride. And I should not have done that. I should have put my foot down again.
The one week you leave us unchecked.
That's fucking crazy. Why are we not booster energy no matter what on that gouging fire? What are we doing?
Now, I saw that game and I saw the Terra Rock, which was weird as fuck, but okay, what was the weakness policy proc move?
Vacuum wave on Sceptile.
Vacuum wave. Yeah, I was like, it was a fighting move.
Oh, okay. You were using vacuum wave for that. Okay,
Yeah.
that
it
makes
was
sense.
it was the best defensive type we had on Gouging Fire that was still good in front of Chiyu.
Okay.
That would allow us to proc with something priority. The issue is we didn't we cooked too hard and just didn't expect a ferret lead, I guess, was the thing. Where we just didn't have the ability to get the combo off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
and the
Gouging Fire
Terra
didn't have Gouging Fire didn't have a
Appleton.
coverage move, so the Appleton just fucked us with the thick fat and the Terra Fairy.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. So, anything else about your team history that you're dying to get out there before we move on?
Yeah, I was gonna say that Arctofish was really memorable. We did some cool stuff with Milotic. We did the Gmax Machamp crit boost on Lugia. That was very interesting. Pecharunt, the confusions definitely won us a couple whole ass weeks. So Pecharunt's actually really good. I don't think anybody really drafted it this meta, but it's really good. It's not like the other mythicals like Mew that have the 100 all around. It has double physical defense, and then you just have usable speed and Spatak.
Oh shit!
I really
we had
liked it. I would have drafted it again. Honestly, you could have easily.
Yeah, real.
Me.
So
we had the Florges on on the bundle.
Oh yeah,
team
we
too,
got
for
to
the
use
symbiosis
symbiosis.
shit.
Yeah, the first time I ever top cut a local with my Mono Fairy team was with Florges symbiosis. It's good.
So going back to the Pecharunt thing, I think it's an awkward Pokemon to figure out how to use for a couple of different reasons. It doesn't really look or function or look like it functions like most other Pokemon. It's got a weird stat distribution with that 160 defense, and the rest are 88 or something.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's 80s and then the 160 defense. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that, and combined with the fact that it's not VGC legal, so people don't have experience with it. So I think a lot of people might look at it on the tier list and maybe write it off because it looks weird and they're not sure how to use it. How would you recommend somebody use Pecharunt in draft?
Well, Ty was really good at building everything we did for it. There was a really cool mode because people would think oh, you just spam the Malignant Chain and pray for the poison proc, which it did have a higher chance, but it had poison gas, and in doubles that hits both, so you're getting double poison and double confusion so long as it doesn't miss. But it's 95 accuracy. It's Icy Wind. And then it did have Parting Shot. That was also kind of nice to pivot into something else that was maybe going to do more damage and take advantage of something hitting itself in confusion on the switch.
Yeah, my big recommendation with Petra is it's gonna buy you time a lot of the time. It's similar to a fake out user or a follow me user, but just kind of in a different way, where it's just kind of sometimes it forces a lot of Terra Steels and Terra Poisons that you can take advantage over the strong ground attacker because they don't want to get poisoned and confused, and if they don't Terra out of it and you get 2 poisons, 2 confuses, you break a lot of sashes, you buy a lot of bullshit turns, and it allows you to we had a goal trace on that team, just setup is a lot easier, and it breaks sashes and stuff for those setup sweepers at the same time. So it's a pretty good Pokemon.
And it even even outside of Shadow Ball, just for neutral coverage, it had Hex, and sometimes we went for Hex.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Nice. So yeah, sounds like kind of a weird support Pokemon with some potential damage output. Sounds fun. I hope we see somebody draft it sometime in the next season or so. All right. So thanks for telling us about the Platinum Pixies history in our league. I always like to dive into league history, especially with some of our most longest running and most successful teams. Let's bring it back to this season, though. Let's talk draft. So tell me about your drafting process this season. You might even want to emphasize how it was different drafting alongside Brenden compared to drafting just the two of you previously. So, like, did you? What was the ideal team you were looking for? Did you get any snipes? Did you ever consider drafting a U tier? And what ended up bringing you to that like double dragon combo with the super high base stats, as opposed to other options that you would see in the S tier? Tell me about that.
Okay. I'll start because I'm going to pass it off to them really quickly because I kind of let them take control of the whole draft. So that would explain why we don't have any mythicals this season, because it's like if I was in control, I would have been like completely after a mythical. They gave me ideas and I really wanted Zacian, but it got taken really fast. So once that happened, I kind of just let them take the reins.
Yeah, Zacian was like, so I kind of in the what's it called, the preseason ranking changes for the tier list, I was kind of playing the spreading misinformation game to try to keep Zacian unbanned because I knew it would be too strong for the league and I wanted to take it.
We did try. There was
a little bit of that involved. We didn't end up getting it, right? Because like the Strudel Bombs picked first and they took it immediately before we could. But the idea was Zacian first, Indeedee second. Figure out the rest. Very similar idea to what the Psy Spam Society ended up doing. But we had the backup of these dragons as if Zacian goes first, we snipe Indeedee before Brenden can get it. And then we pick up
even though
better
he wasn't
things
in our
for
division.
it. And then Brenden wasn't in our division, but we ended up getting the Indeedee anyway, because like the thing is, Indeedee doesn't need a secondary. The expanding force user doesn't need to be your like 45 guy, right? Like you can have a different mode that Indeedee can support with, and then have like a 30 expanding force users. That was the plan the whole time. And so figuring out like what that secondary mode was kind of where those double dragons came in, right? Brenden, you probably have like, you were the one that was really like concocting like that double dragon core. Like what was your main thought process there?
Yeah, so this was all while we were quote unquote watching the TCG finals at NAIC this year. Just sitting there scribbling on a notepad, just different comps that we could go for. Obviously, the Zacian was the original plan. And we had the backup mode based around Indeedee Kyurem, because Kyurem was just, it's a very different kind of legendary because it has 130s in both offenses. And with the different ways to run it, it seemed like a fun one to kind of go in on. And looking for things to support it, booster speed, howl, gouging fire kind of stood out to me to go with a physical Kyurem.
Yeah, the beauty of the Kyurem mode is like you get your the beauty of the double dragon is like it can be howl plus physical Kyurem, or it can be sweep or gouging fire plus special Kyurem, and you don't know which one it's going to be on prep, right? So like, and the addition of like that Sceptile that we ended up getting later on during the transactions, like getting the Dragon Cheer for 2 very strong dragons without adding an additional dragon type to the team. Yes, you add another ice weak, but neither of the dragons are weak to ice, right? So like those 3 I think form a really strong, dangerous core where like either of the dragons can become like a crit menace and you don't know which one you're trying to prep for, right? Kyurem is also, we noticed like you said earlier, like the highest BST mon in the game, like in the entire tier. Like without going up to you, Kyurem is like a monster for what it's worth. Like, yes, you are stuck with pressure, but unlike something like Baxcalibur, which was I think the same price, maybe Bax was 45, I don't remember, but it
Bax
has
is 60.
Oh, it is 60, yeah. It's basically Baxcalibur with 15 less attack, but you also have a special attacking option.
Yep.
And it's
freeze dry.
And it's way fatter, and you have freeze dry, and it has way more coverage. So like it was a no-brainer to take this thing.
Yeah, and there's no way of telling what Kyurem we're running, even off team preview.
Definitely, yeah.
You'll only find out once it starts attacking.
Yeah, that's one of the kind of a double-edged sword, right? Getting a Pokemon with like really high base stats in both offenses, because it's like each battle you're typically using only one of those, so it kind of feels like the other stats are going to waste. But then if you zoom out, look at the bigger picture, you're like, wait a minute, this isn't just wasting stats, this is also catching an opponent off guard potentially, because they expect this Kyurem, but the stat distribution allows us to go for that Kyurem instead. So versatility is just one of my favorite things in draft anyway, so that's a great example of that. So yeah, definitely that makes a bit more sense to me now, because that composition with the double dragons and Indeedee on the surface like didn't make a huge amount of intuitive sense to me, but that clears things up a lot, especially with the trying to take the Indeedee away from the Zacian team, because usually I kind of think of that as a bad idea if you're just like, I'm going to pick this thing so that team doesn't get it. But in this case, it was actually great, because Indeedee as a first pick is maybe one of the best first picks you could have. Like, there's so many different directions you could go from there, so you're not just like tripling your own team to cripple another. In that case, you were like making sure that the Shroodle Bombs don't get this essential piece, while also having a really great starting point for your own draft. So I like that a lot.
And the goal was also just not to end up in a similar situation to like the Foxy Mouse Pads, where we're like a predictable size spam team with the Indeedee. So like having the double dragon mode, having the sand rush mode, having the conch for Trick Room now, like all of these things kind of compound into a team that's semi-difficult to prep for in a lot of ways.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
And yet...
I'm trying to think, we were entertaining a U tier, right? Like, we, talked about it. I mean, I don't think we really...
Yeah, the Zacian.
It was the Zacian, yeah.
Oh, that was the U tier? Okay, so yeah, once that fell off, we were just like, yeah, we ended up with, these... not, budget dragons, but, Kyurem was, noticeably cheaper than other legendaries.
Yeah, I think Kyurem has a lot of the... when you zoom out and look at Kyurem, yes, like you were saying, you have 130 wasted points any given week. But if you remove Kyurem's...
it's
you
fine.
don't, yeah. Because Kyurem has 660 fucking BST.
Yeah.
When you take away its attack stat, for example, and you just put it up, just look at HP, bulk, and special attack and speed, it's just Raging Bolt, but 95 speed. It's Raging Bolt, but you also have 130 attack.
Yeah.
This thing's a monster. It's so good.
I've been enjoying seeing it for sure, especially because, even the fused Kyurems you never see in VGC anyway. Maybe Kyurem White on occasion, but the base ones, who the fuck uses that ever? So, that's why I love drafts.
That was the other thing where I was just I love Kyurem. I really love Kyurem, all three of them. And so getting to use the one that I've never used before is really funny.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's cool. So, you did say you were trying to diversify the team a little bit instead of go in the Foxy Mousepad's direction of just straightforward size spam. Even if it's a strong size spam with good synergy like they have, you want it to be a little bit more multi-dimensional. And yet, you still ended up with a size spam element on your team, though now without Slowking, your expanding force spammer is a little green football. So, what the fuck is going on there? Who's to blame for the Solosis shenanigans? Tell us about that.
Hey, hello, that's me.
Hello, football boy.
You take the floor there. That's all you.
Brenden, how did we end up here?
End up with Solosis and Glowking?
Just Solosis. Let's talk Solosis, because not only did you draft it, but it's done quite well in 2 matches? Question mark? 3?
2 or 3, yeah.
All right. So how did that happen? What's the idea behind the Solosis? How the fuck did you think to put this on the team, and how did it succeed?
So part of what I do when I'm looking for draft picks, this is my first ever draft league, so I'm kind of just learning everything on the fly here. Tyler and Nick having a lot of experience with it has helped me a lot too with picking up the reins quickly. But part of what I look at is maximizing the value of the low tier picks so that even if we're picking a shitmon, we can still get something out of it. So we're not in a position like some of the other teams where they're like, oh, we just have 5-10 points left over. Let's get the Happini, the Beldum, just something you know is not coming to the match. And that makes your opponent's prep a lot easier. So picking something like Solosis, at face value, oh, it's just a little thing. It's gonna, Endeavor? Sure. But it has 105 special attack. It has Magic Guard. You can slap a Life Orb on it, and all of a sudden, it's one-shotting things. And you're getting all that value out of a F tier. Just last bottom of the barrel pick is suddenly causing a lot of problems for your opponent. Those are the little things I like to look for. That's also how we ended up with Hippopotas, where we wanted a Sand Setter, but Hippowdon was too expensive. Where do we get the value from that?
I think it's impressive that you have that kind of mindset without having played draft before, because that's really like most that's a huge part of what you want to do when you're drafting. You got it. Like a lot of people, when they're new to draft, they might not think too much about the low tiers. They kind of just see some of the shiny toys that they know from VGC, and they focus more on that. But to really be that more full-fledged, well-rounded draft player, you need to look at the whole board, including the stuff that you might think is useless. And I think to have that kind of intuition that like maybe there's more to this little thing that I might otherwise think, I think is a really good instinct. Even if like you look into a lot of Pokemon that turn out to be kind of shitty, that's the way that you end up finding the gems, like Solosis. So that's, I think, a really great draft mindset to have, and I hope you carry that with you as you
my spreadsheets of low tier picks that I have suggested, which are about 30 Pokemon long.
Nice.
Yeah, the spreadsheets are real, and the calcs, it's like crazy. Like I wake up to like 25 calcs sent, and I'm like, okay, like I believe you.
my brain just doesn't shut off sometimes. It was, I think the calc that fully sold Solosis for me was for the mediocre Mudkips. The Solosis could do, I think, like 85 to 90% to the Dialga with Terra Fighting Terra Blast.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I got the
so
pilot.
All you had to do was chip it.
And that was dope.
And it turns out it can one-shot Assault Vest Terra Dark Tauros.
Yeah, you called the Terra at exactly the right time on that turn. That was nuts.
To be fair, we didn't know that it was AV, and we were expanding forcing with the Slowking anyway. So like we assumed that if it Terra Darked, we punch it with the football. If it doesn't Terra Dark, it gets expanding forced. So like it was a pin either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, my god just told. Well, they told us in the previous game they Terra Darked for no reason.
Yeah.
Or at least it felt like no reason. So they revealed that to us, so we could. We knew we had a pin. It just happened that it was no bulk AV, and it's a guaranteed one shot.
Yeah. It's still fun to see. Still very fun to see. And let that be a lesson to you guys. Don't reveal information if you don't have to, because you never know when it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. All right. So, let's move on from the Solosis then. So I want to talk about your match prep more generally and some of the stuff you've seen from your opponents. So we talked about Solosis a lot, so let's put that aside for a bit. Outside of Solosis, what piece of match prep from your own team this season have you been most proud of? And on the other side of the field, what piece of match prep from your opponents have you guys been most impressed by?
Obviously we're impressed by Terra Fairy Appleton.
Yeah, that was the
real... full stop. That is the most impressive thing done into us. Just immediately identifying something that walls out our primary offenses, and we just completely missed it in prep.
Mm-hmm.
Thick fat, doing a lot of work for sure.
Thick fat, very
Thick
strong.
Fat's
Thick
crazy.
Fat, Terra Fairy, Assault Vest, we just
Yeah.
could not break it.
Yeah. So what about
And then,
what about your own prep? Not Solosis.
I feel like it has to be the defensive Diglett calc, right?
Oh my god. I
Diglett,
spent
oh my
like
God.
2 hours doing defensive Diglett calcs because I just thought of something funny. Just what if I just slap Charm onto Choice Scarf Diglett? And then I started thinking, wait, the damage is getting low enough? Can I calc to survive an Adamant Play Rough from a -1 Zacian? And it turns out Diglett has just enough bulk, and bulk is used in the lightest way possible, but it can detect to live a 252 Adamant Play Rough from -1 Zacian and guaranteed survive, and still have enough speed to always outspeed it, even if it ends up actually being a Jolly Zacian.
that
You
is
pop it with the charm, you live, and you swap it out, you come back in later, you have a 1 HP non-sashed Scarf Endeavor. And there's nothing they can do about it.
that is the draft mindset right there. That's awesome.
It's so fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that worked is just crazy. But
And
yes,
the Zacian
stuff
can't
like that-
leave because you have an arena trap.
Oh my god. And yet you dropped Diglett? Oh,
We did
That's what
drop
I'm
it.
saying.
We dropped all this stuff that we're like, oh, we had so much success with this, but we just drop it. Like, fuck it, who cares?
Yeah, like that's the big success. Like there that I feel like there's a lot of like success based like, oh, this did good for me, I'm gonna keep working with it. Like I wanted our mindset this season to really be like, no. Like the next 2 weeks we need XYZ, and Diglett's Slowking's not doing anything. I don't care that it's 8-1. Drop it. Like, you know, like
Yeah, when we looked at weeks 5 to 8, Glowking was doing nothing.
yeah.
There was no reason. It was just dead weight.
Like, if we can find a reason for it, like, not even in DD, Curum, and Gouging Fire are safe from, like, retooling and dropping and things like that. Like, we are open to changing this team entirely if it means winning the 2 weeks that we're making the transaction after. And I think that mindset's been really good at, like, helping us stay flexible and fluid for the entire season.
Yeah, and we've always been really good about, like, we pretty much take a transaction, like, anytime it's available. Because there's really no reason not to. Like, we don't really get punished for it. And a lot of other teams don't do that. I think probably the best piece that we've kept and that we'll probably keep the whole time has been Gouging Fire, aka gay porn.
Gay porn.
It's just been so good, and it's just so nice to have like booster energy on it and just not have to worry about like we're not fighting with items for anything else. Like it can be support, it can be the offense. Like it's just such a good Mon. It's good in VGC, but it's way better in draft. Like it's been like so good to us.
Speaking of nicknames, I noticed recently that Conkelder, being a burning pair of twin towers, you named Bush Jr.
What?
I didn't think about that at all. That's so funny.
Wait, I thought that was the reason you named it that.
No,
Jesus
I just named that because he kind of looks like a Republican.
Oh my god! No, I was not a part of this.
we just threw president names on him.
I
There's
noticed
no
that, but I
coordinating.
figured
We just picked names.
No, he just kind of looks like a Republican, and he's got a clown nose. He reminded me of Bush.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna stick with the 9/11 thing.
That's
But,
so funny.
Please do. It's wonderful, and I feel validated now.
All right. So I got a couple of more questions for you guys here. So you guys are in the Violet division. As we know, once we get to the top 8, there are no more divisions, and you could play anybody in playoffs. So, out of all the teams in Scarlet division, which one do you think you are most interested in meeting in the playoffs?
Sam Society, just dunk on Brenden and Everett.
that'd be funny, but no. I want our third finals against the Nebby Backpackers, and I want to take them down this time. That's my goal.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we have like a vengeance for them. So yeah, I guess I would have to agree with that.
I gotta take down Brenden, dude. Like
I have no history, so
twice.
that one was impartial to me.
Those, well, whether you meet the Nebby Backpackers or Anti-Psy Spam Council, both of those would be pretty explosive games, especially considering how well all three of your teams are doing this season. So that would be awesome. Last question I have for you guys. So I asked this to the mediocre Mudkips as well. We have a lot of players here, including Brenden, actually, who are... Brenden, I assume you're familiar with VGC, right? Yeah, you've been playing for a while?
Yeah, I first started VGC in 2011.
Oh, shit. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I'm an old head.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're like looking at the creator of like Bastiodon here.
This is true.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I thought I was old. I started VGC in 2014. That's impressive. So so for somebody like yourself and for a bunch of the other players who've started with us this season who know VGC but maybe don't have experience with this multi-battle format, what kind of advice would you have for a player like that to succeed in this multi-battle format?
I wouldn't say like forget everything you know, but it's definitely not the same. It's similar enough that you could like pass, but you do have to be conscious of like, not only is it not 4 Pokemon coming to the battle, it's 6 Pokemon. You can't alternate the sides. You're stuck with the 3 that you're using on the one side. I think that like having experienced like the multi-battle, like battle tower or battle tree helps out a lot, because you get used to like the functions of the multi-battle and how they're different from VGC, because there's like a few differences.
I've got a very niche, well, not niche, but like one of the big strategies in multi-battles that I've found over the years that is a trap that is easy to fall into for inexperienced teams is like, you can easily get one side pressured down, punished, and your entire battle turns into a 2v1, even if you still have half your team left, right? So I never leave... I try to never leave the builder without 2 protects per side. Like, that's really, like, minimum, right? So, like...
Yeah.
In a worst case scenario, if you're down 2 mons on a side, you likely have a way to protect that last Pokemon. Obviously, like, there's exceptions to the rules. Like, we've broken the rules quite a few times this season by having a protectless, like, Houndstone with Band in the back, right? Because, like, it's taking advantage of the 2 deaths, but, like, that's kind of my big thing is, like, you gotta prep your protects, and I think that timer management is, like, the #1 thing to learn for draft, because there's so much
learning
dead
how
time.
the timer stuff works, like, knowing, like, because we had to learn, like, the whole, like, HP thing. Because a lot of these matches go to timer, like, it happens. Because there's just more Pokemon on the field. So you have to know, like, oh, like, is timer stalling, like, gonna win me this battle or lose me this battle? Which we learned the hard way this season, but luckily it worked out for us. But,
My bad.
another thing involving that is also knowing that, like, stuff like Tailwind and Trick Room, you can't just like let that carry you the whole battle. It's not like VGC where you're like, oh, I just like auto win if Trick Room gets set up. These battles take more turns. So like us having the Trick Room mode and then being able to go into that like Sand Rush Choice Band mode to clean up at the end does like a lot more than people would like think, because it's doing a lot more work than it would in VGC.
Yeah, you don't... Trick Room, even in VGC, is tight to try to KO 4 Pokemon, and you're trying to KO 6, right? So, like...
Yeah, so you just, like, we have to plan. It's like, okay, we're going to do, like, Trick Room for, like, this part of the battle at the beginning, but then we're going to, like, drop it and not try to go for it again and go for, like, the Sand Rush mode or, like, Tailwind or, like, whatever you're going to do, but based off, like, your team. You have to play, like, a longer game. basically.
Absolutely, yeah. It's much more essential to have multiple modes in a 6v6 rather than just like, this is my shit, I'm going with it, click this big speed control move once and I can decimate most of my opponent's team. It's not quite like that, especially if you're beating down one side and not the other. That kind of makes the game take a little bit longer too, because then you're not able to like kill two things at once, right? I think pretty much everything you guys said there is super spot on, very insightful, very helpful hopefully helpful to new players. If you're new to multi-battles this season, I recommend you rewind the video and go listen to everything Nick and Ty said again, because there's a lot of good shit in there, especially the stuff about the two sides and the timer. The sides, I know when I was new to multi-battles, having only 3 Pokemon per side ended up feeling a lot more restrictive than I expected it to. And the timer too, you really got it. Like once you see that 3-minute warning, unless you're like basically on the last turn anyway, you got to think about timer win conditions. In fact, I'd recommend you think about timer win conditions before that 3-minute warning comes up. Back when I was playing with Anthony, we used to set a timer immediately when the battle started so that we knew how much time was left. We didn't have to wait for that 3-minute timer. We knew when there were 7 minutes left, 5 minutes left, whatever, so that we could plan for the timer much farther in advance. It's an easy thing for you to do that'll help you a lot, and it'll keep the timer in mind a lot better, because it's easy to forget about it if you're not used to it. Even when you see that warning, like you gotta get your head into timer mode. You gotta think about like, what are my opponent's timer-based win conditions? How can we win on timer? What do we think they're likely to do? And if timer stalling is gonna get you the win, then you fucking timer stall. I know it seems kind of distasteful. A lot of people don't necessarily like it, but it's part of the game, and we can't turn the timer off. Would love it if we could, but it's there. So if
no sense throwing it if you were gonna win that way anyway,
Yeah, use it. Use it to your advantage. It's there. So,
I do have actually one more thing I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
When you're putting your sides together for the week, a lot of the times what I used to do in the past was, we've got Indeedee, Slowking. Okay, they need to go opposite. We've got Gouging Fire, Kyurem. They got to go opposite. Yeah, that's true. But in deciding what's on what side, you've also got to look at your opponent's team, figure out the types of their big damage, and make sure that you aren't stacking 3 to a side that are gonna just get run over by one of their main offensive options, right?
Definitely.
You've got to always make sure you've got pivots stacked up in the back, because I've looked at many teams even this season where we've been doing our battle, and I'm like, oh, cool, I can just throw fire damage into that slot indiscriminately, and there's nothing they can do to stop it.
Yeah.
that's especially useful once you, like, if you're in a game 2 or 3 and you've already learned that your opponent has maybe not a lot of protects on one side, like you were talking about earlier, you could sort of take advantage of that yourself, you know, as opposed to just making sure that your opponent can't do that too. So the information game definitely plays into, like, how you treat each side on your opponent's team, for sure. Anything else on this last question about multi-battle related advice?
I guess as a first timer, I can look at it from the other end. For me, what's been really helpful is leaning into my tendency for nonsense, as nonsense tends to be rewarded to an extent in multi-battle.
Especially with closed team sheets.
Letting that little voice in the back of your head get a little louder can go a long way as you learn different interactions that are unique to multi-battles. And just try things out. There's no harm in just experimenting, especially if you have experienced teammates. They can help redirect some of that creativity into a cohesive team or game plan where you found something that someone with a more rigid way of thinking may have overlooked, and that one little piece, from an outside perspective, undermined your entire opponent's plan. So
Absolutely.
the TLDR is don't be afraid to experiment.
Definitely, yeah. Especially if you're new to the league, get weird with it. See what works, what doesn't. Even if something doesn't work, you gain some information. You made yourself a better player for next time. All right. Well, that's all the questions. Yeah, absolutely. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Jesus, we've been on here for 3 hours now. So that's all of our...
It's not short form content.
No, it's
fair,
not.
We've been saying some good shit, and I'm sure somebody's gonna enjoy this for their background noise at work for this week.
Definitely,
oh yeah, this is a long haul commute.
Hell
Happy
yeah,
to
baby.
provide. But yeah, thanks for hopping on here and putting together the power rankings with us and answering some interview questions. You guys had a lot of good insight on other teams and on your own. So, and I appreciate you taking the time out to do that with me.
Of
So,
course.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you
for
very
having
much.
us. Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for the rest of you MBC folks, I am. You'll probably maybe in a few weeks when we get closer to the end of the season. The next video you should expect is some kind of. We're gonna do some playoff predictions. That's what we're gonna do. So around like week 10, 11-ish. Not quite at the end, but close to it. So expect that in a few weeks. But until then, I am Matt. These are your 3 Platinum Pixies. And we'll see you in the next one. Good luck to all players in the coming weeks. And thanks again to the Platinum Pixies for joining me here. Peace.
See you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.